Somehow would have made in the second half, now pushing Adrian Silva as a lone striker, and Nkunku, who we praised before the game for his versatility, of course, goes behind the number 9, but of course they need to anticipate this change now with the next games in mind and the World Cup in mind as well. Another free kick for a foul on a Leipzig player, this time Dominic Szoboszlai to ground under the challenge from Lassina Traore, and the English referee Michael Oliver wore the expression of a weary teacher, as though, come on guys, not another one, let's just try and keep it a little bit cleaner than it currently has been. Mikhailichenko with the ball back into the feet of Sudakov. Forward it goes to Mudryk, and then infield to Stepanenko. A little bit quicker from Shakhtar as they look to manoeuvre Leipzig about and get them into the kind of positions that they might be able to exploit. Petriak on the right-hand side, ball forward. That's a decent little run, burst forward from Konoplya from right back, but the pass is beyond his reach. Now to play for a throw-in the left-back position for an RB Leipzig side that lead by Christopher Nkunku's goal to nil, just to dot the I's and cross the T's for those of you that keep up to date with this kind of stuff. That means that goal for Nkunku, that he has now scored more goals in the Champions League proper for Leipzig than any other. That's his 11th for the club, one more than Emil Forsberg, who has just come on as a substitute. Here comes Simakan, right-hand side with the ball in towards, at least in the general vicinity of Andre Silva, but it was much closer to goalkeeper Anatoly Trubin, who gathered without too much drama. Sudakov for Shakhtar, playing it forward. Bondarenko shoveling it on a little bit further. Here's Petriak on the right-hand side. This is a really good little dart infield, and that might just be a free kick. No, it was Konoplya went to ground. There was one or two polite inquiries as to whether Shakhtar might have a free kick on the edge of the Leipzig penalty area, but Michael Oliver decided that there wasn't enough in it, and Shakhtar instead will have to build again from the back. 20.5 minutes played. Leipzig up by a goal to nil. Good enough for them to join Real Madrid in the knockout stages. That would be good enough for second place, with Real Madrid already leading by a goal to nil over Celtic at the Estadio Bernabeu. Here's Bondar, and get across the defensive line to Matvienko, who returns it to his goalkeeper Trubin. And steadily Shakhtar look to close in on Leipzig territory. Going down the right, Joachim Konoplya over the top for Traore, who's in and behind, but the bounce of the ball was not as favourable as it might otherwise have been for the Burkina Faso centre forward. And as it's cleared by Willy Orban and behind, the flag is up anyway. Traore offside. Everything else is rendered insignificant. Rob, with some news from Estadio Bernabeu.
Yeah, 21 minutes played. Madrid 1-up. Luka Modric has scored a penalty. Real Madrid have got another penalty, and it is a handball after a VAR review that's gone against Matthew O'Reilly. Stephanie Frappart heading to the pitchside monitor and agreeing with the video assistant that it was handball. Rodrigo from the spot scores, beats Joe Hart, sends him the wrong way. Real Madrid are 2-up and going through as group winners.
Leipzig very close to breaching the Shakhtar defence again and extending their 1-0 advantage. Instead, on the edge of the penalty area now, here's Nkunku. A couple of little tricks for him before he finds Campbell. Forsberg to Campbell to Nkunku, who dinks it over the top for the run of Szoboszlai, who's gone from right to left, and with a little back heel is playing in Raum, and in comes a sliding challenge. The ball goes behind. It took a touch off Raum, and behind it goes midway through the first half. Leipzig leading by a goal to nil. Shakhtar Donetsk with a goal kick, and I will just make the commentators' complaint with Forsberg coming on. We saw it together yes. with Daniele recently in the win over Celtic. Yes. That when Schlager, Campbell and Forsberg are all on the pitch,
it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Neck-length blonde hair with an Alice Bland. They are interchangeable and they move with such fluidity.
And they're all close to each other as well. They interchange position. That's a sign they are doing really well. Very difficult to commentate on them.
I've seen police lineups with a greater contrast in characteristics than those three have between them. It can become a bit of a nightmare at times. Here's Konoplya in the right-back position for Shakhtar, who themselves are having must be, whatever happens to them this evening, we must remember what a truly phenomenal season that they are having under incredibly difficult circumstances. Ball given away to Nkunku. Here's Szoboszlai, back to Christopher Nkunku, poked away
Sudakov is the player looking to bring it away for Shakhtar, who are 5 points behind at the top of the Ukrainian Premier League, but have a game in hand. You wouldn't bet against them winning that title again, but they will need to clean up the tackling in this game against Leipzig, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. And Bogdan Mikhailichenko, their left-back, has now been shown a yellow card for a less than well-timed challenge on the overlapping Simikan.
That's the second one, and Simikan is enjoying more and more space on the right-hand side. We know how dangerous it is. We were talking about the difficult situation of Shakhtar. This morning, The Athletic published a very good piece talking about the personal stories of many of the Shakhtar players. Steparenko, the captain, telling the accounts of when him and his family had to find shelters in Kiev. Kornienko as well, who became a volunteer in the territorial army. Then they talk about the time they spend in the buses going from place to place, the youth team that has been displaced in Croatia. So it's been a roller coaster, remarkable season, a season for history anyway for Shakhtar.
They've got a free kick to defend, delivered by Szoboszlai. And it is well defended, and it's Mikhailichenko who's just been booked for conceding that free kick, who eventually gets it away. They were off the field for more than an hour in Lviv against Alexandria at the weekend, whilst the air raid sirens sounded. The changing rooms at the stadium are actually deep enough underground to qualify as an air raid shelter, so they didn't have to go anywhere particularly unusual, but there was a delay of about an hour and 40 minutes in that game, and it was one apiece. It finished 2-2. Shakhtar finishing the game with 10 men after their right-back Lucas Taylor was sent off, so it was an eventful game in many various different ways. Here's Gvardiol. Leipzig had an altogether much more straightforward sort of weekend. They beat Bayer Leverkusen at a real canter, with Nkunku and Werner scoring the goals. One of the 4 successive games that Christopher Nkunku has now scored in. Timo Werner won't be extending his run of goals in 3 successive games because he's already departed with an injury this evening. Schlager with the attempted switch of play out to the right to Simikan. Here comes Mudryk for the first time. 26 minutes place. Finally, we're seeing Mihailo Mudryk running with the ball at his feet, but it did not last for long. With Simikan upfield, that was the opportunity for him to burst into space.
He should have passed it, perhaps, or give it to Traoré. Tried the 1-2, because suddenly he was surrounded by 4 Leipzig players who obviously have done the homework. They know how quick Mudryk is. Today, a Ukrainian newspaper described him one of the quickest players in the world. I'm not sure if he's one of the quickest, but definitely he's got a burst of pace, but he needs support. He's too much on his own.
Well, I wouldn't like to test his pace against my own, so I will be more than happy to take the Ukrainian
if I'm on the bike, maybe, or in the car. I don't know.
Yeah, one of those electric scooters, perhaps.
Yes, this is better.
Here's Campbell on halfway for Leipzig. 27 minutes played in Warsaw. 1-0 to the side that's currently 6th in the German Bundesliga. Slowly but surely clawing their way up the table, aren't they? After by the standards they've set themselves since their rapid emergence. They had a really poor start to the campaign, their worst in their brief history of Bundesliga football, but they started to make amends for that. They're just 3 points shy now of the top 4 in Germany, which is enough to qualify you for Champions League football. Here's Szoboszlai for Forsberg, on as a substitute, dispossessed by Bondarenko, who's yet to be able to get on the ball inside the Leipzig half and fulfill his objectives of being the creative spark for Shakhtar Donetsk. Instead, the ball is back right in front of their own goal, with goalkeeper Trubin, who plays it out to the left to Mikhailichenko, and it's back to Nikola Matvienko, who clips it forward left-footed up towards Traoré, just inside the Leipzig half, but his layoff intended for Mudryk is picked off by Schlager, and now Campbell has it for Leipzig, who were looking to overwhelm that Shakhtar defence once again. Simikan with the ball forward into the feet of Andre Silva, who's seen an awful lot of the ball without having to come up with anything by way of creativity as yet, and he's certainly not had to come alive inside the penalty area to latch onto an opportunity. Here's Campbell, busying himself in that Leipzig midfield. Willi Orban. Kunku comes deep. Szoboszlai, Forsberg, they've worked this really well. Emil Forsberg takes aim and forces a save down to his right from Trubin. By truth, it wasn't too far away from the goalkeeper, But Forsberg getting another shot on target for Leipzig.
They look so comfortable in possession, a lot of passes. Nkunku pops up on the right-hand side, then slowly they move it up to the center, and Forsberg turns really, really well, and then he's clear on goal. He decides to shoot. The shot is low, not very angled, so easy for Derby, but the sensation is that Leipzig are in control. As soon as they change the gear, they can find the space really easily.
I talk about this with mates all the time, Daniele, about, you know, people wonder why certain players do well at some clubs and not others, and likewise with managers, and you just feel like there's combinations that for whatever reason you might not even be able to fully understand or explain it, just work, and Leipzig looks so much more coherent under Marco Rose now than they did under Domenico Tedesco at the start of the season, albeit with the same players playing a pretty similar sort of formation.
Yeah, apart from switching from a back three to a back four, nothing really has changed. I think they are just rationalized them, stabilized a little bit. I think with Tedesco sometimes they were going gung-ho, they were pushing the line a lot. They always been known for being a very scoring team, but especially, for example, in the reverse fixtures, they were having like 6 or 7, 8 players in front of the ball, and that's how they conceded a goal. Sometimes they put the defense under Tedesco under too much stress. Rose, I think, has kind of stabilized them, has brought a little bit more of calm, making sure that they make the most of their technical abilities and knocking the ball around, which they are really, really good at doing.
Excellent observations from Daniele as Andre Silva looks to play a ball in behind for the run of Nkunku, but here comes Mudryk. Really wonderful couple of touches from him, and awareness that Sudakov was available, and there's an overlapping run on the right-hand side, and Shakhtar suddenly looking business. The home fans getting excited for the first time, and Shakhtar, with half an hour on the clock, finally have their first shot of the game, albeit one from Ivan Petreak, which was well off target, but it all started inside their own half, left-back position with Mudryk, and suddenly they were breaking quickly.
Yeah, because he clips the ball behind Szoboszlai, who as well, he doesn't really do a tackle, and they are off, and in the end there is a shot from Petreak. It is a shot out of target, but out of a sudden he lifts the crowd. He gives them a little bit of belief that the Shakhtar Donetsk can hurt Leipzig, but they need to keep going. You think they've been too inconsistent so far in this game.
Here comes Petreak on the right, looking to turn away from Gvardiol. But he waited too long, and it was the supporting defender getting back that poked the ball away from him, and Leipzig back in possession after that little flurry of activity in front of their own goal. We're in the 32nd minute of the first half, Leipzig leading 1-0. They've had other opportunities as well. Werner just before the goal, and more recently Forsberg. That one shot from Petreak off target for Shakhtar by way of a response. Andre Silva deep inside the Shakhtar half. Forsberg is closed down quickly by two in orange and black, but they've managed to work it out to Nkunku now of Leipzig on the left-hand side. He bides his time before finding Campbell. They've been really patient when they've had the ball at the feet. Nothing too explosive from Leipzig, and Shakhtar getting back, getting plenty of bodies behind the ball has been another contributing factor in that. Nkunku across the face of the penalty area, a little nod into the path of Schlager from Szoboszlai. Now over the top for Nkunku, who tried to volley it across the face of goal, but he was a little bit off balance as he attempted to do so and didn't make a clean connection. But the ball has been cleared only as far as Campbell, who drops back to Gvardiol, who's the player loitering on halfway. This is all bound for Leipzig, who just have dominated possession in this first half. It looks so good when they've had the ball at their feet collectively. Everybody seems to understand their job. Everybody seems to understand the position that they've got to take up next. And Campbell is drifting over towards the left-hand side, where Raum is providing some support. Back it goes to Gvardiol, who's the outlet over on that side now, should they need one defensively. And so in control are they that the goalkeeper Blažević is able to come a long way out of his penalty area to almost play as the sweeper keeper, and it's worked brilliantly for them because they're at the other end of the field all of a sudden. And Andre Silva looking to poke the ball back towards Campbell, who feels he was unfairly impeded as he made his run forward. Here now is Szoboszlai, edge of the penalty area, goes for goal, always rising, always sailing into the stands. But that's how quickly suddenly Leipzig can go through the gears. They lead 1-0. They've had the better of things since as well.
With his right foot, Szoboszlai picking up the loose ball. In the end, he goes out for a goal kick, but again, Leipzig mixing it up. This time they launch it forward. It was very good from Forsberg to bring it down with the first touch, and then they create density of the pitch. So as soon as the ball was lost by Shakhtar, they were quick to recover. So again, hurting Shakhtar in different ways. A little bit more of precision for Szoboszlai, and he could have really troubled Turbin.
There are Leipzig supporters here as well. Their journey, half the distance.
Short.
Yes. The distance from Donetsk to Warsaw. It's about 450 miles from Leipzig. It's more like 1,000 from Donetsk, even though Shakhtar are officially the home side. Michael Oliver has awarded Leipzig a free kick, and he wants a word with Taras Stepanenko, who was booked, wasn't he, for the challenge earlier on. I don't remember actually seeing the yellow card being brandished, but I'm pretty sure he must have been, and he's just body checked his opponent there. So just needs to be a little bit careful. The last thing that Shakhtar need here is for their captain to get himself into unnecessary trouble, because his influence still yet could be incredibly important to them tonight, even if it's a night that's not quite going to go the way that they would have hoped. They certainly want it to be a night in which they give yet another good account of themselves in the UEFA Champions League, and prepare themselves for what might be to come in the Europa League in the new year instead. Oh, Campbell closed down by Bondarenko, completely unaware.
Yeah,
Bondarenko was in close proximity and then grabbed hold of him in frustration. And free kick is conceded, and Shakhtar have an opportunity to get on the front foot, trailing Leipzig by a 1-0.
Celtic have a chance to get one back at Real Madrid. They're 2 down, 11 minutes to half-time. Penalty kick. Real Madrid have scored 2 penalties. Now Celtic have one. Josip Juranovic waiting for the moment, waiting for the whistle. Steps up, right-footed against Courtois. And Thibaut Courtois beats it away. Super save from the man many would call the best goalkeeper in the world right now. Tremendous stop. Real Madrid keep their 2-0 lead. 10 minutes to half-time. They are, as things stand, group winners.
We're watching a slow, quick training session here. Rob's keeping his eyes on a penalty shootout. There couldn't be a more contrasting games of football that are taking place in Group F at the moment. Here comes Shakhtar, though, and Mudrak pinching the ball away from Ram is away on the left-hand side and crossing it into the penalty area. But it is a penalty area heavily occupied by Leipzig players, and Simikan is the one who can eventually get it away. There was a moment of excitement there, though, for the home side, who trail 1-0.
Yeah, on the loose ball again, Mudryk trying to pick it up. Yeah, crowd on the feet. As soon as he's got the ball, you can tell everyone gets excited. Then the last pass wasn't great. But, you know, signs that Shakhtar, if they are courageous, as they have been against Real Madrid, of course, in the last few games, they can trouble Leipzig. Of course, still they have another shot on target. They need to push the line a little bit more, or perhaps get Mudryk a bit closer to Traore, because again the striker is on his own. But the position of Mudryk is interesting because he stays in the right-hand side where Simikan likes to bomb forward. Szoboszlai is not very interested in defending either, so he can get some joy there, I think.
Szoboszlai's creativity. I love watching him play. He doesn't have to defend.
We excuse him. But
he's an artist, isn't he? Artists don't defend.
Yeah, ask Schlager, who needs to do all the runs.
Yeah, Campbell, Schlager, you can get back. Forsberg, you can do some running as well. Artists don't sprint like that. No chance. Petriak thought he was fouled as he tried to get away on the right-hand side as Shakhtar attacked, but instead play is allowed to continue, and Gvardiol sends it back to his goalkeeper. Considering they scored with all 4 shots on target in the reverse fixture, Shakhtar, the fact that they've not managed an effort on target yet this evening as the home side will be, of course, a cause of huge frustration for them, with just 8 minutes of the first half remaining and them trailing 1-0.
The thing that disappoints me so far about Shakhtar is that against Real Madrid in both legs, they had a plan, they kept the ball well, they managed to create chances against a strong defense. We know, the champions, they hold the Real Madrid, and this time they seem almost overwhelmed by the occasion. They aren't really clicking.
Leipzig have clicked when required. They still lead through Nkunku's goal, and they are in possession inside the Shakhtar half again. It's been unspectacular, but it doesn't need to be anything else. A draw would have been good enough for them to secure their progress tonight, so being 1-0 up, well, that is a very satisfactory position to find themselves in. They can more or less forget about top spot, with Real Madrid leading Celtic 2-0 at home in the other game. Here's Andre Silva. Jobajlai thought Forsberg was going to make a run forward. He didn't, and that's enabled Shakhtar to clear it as far as Schlager, who's midway inside the home side's half. Out it goes to Ram on the left, the summer signing from Greuther Fürth in Germany. He's now started 5 successive games in the Champions League. Bondarenko is in for Shakhtar to break up play. And back it goes to Trubin in the home side's goal, and he launches it forward from deep inside his own penalty area towards Traore, who gets a little bump from behind from Joško Gvardiol, who tries to look innocent, but most certainly was not, and it'll be a Shakhtar free kick.
He pulls his arm. In the end, the ball probably hits Traore rather than Guardiola. It's very good from Traore to put his body in the right position. So obviously the referee doesn't see it, what Guardiola is doing behind him, and then he gets a free kick. You know, spells of Traore. That's really, we haven't seen much from him. By the way, Traore, who comes back from a serious injury who suffered last season, a knee injury in a group stage game against Inter.
On that occasion, though, Traore, as the ball came into his feet, he was coming back from an offside position, so that'll be a Leipzig throw. You were talking earlier, Daniele, about the young players that we've seen in this Shakhtar side this season, which under other circumstances they might not have been getting their opportunity. They might have continued to play out on loan at other clubs in Ukraine, but needs must, and they've had to dig deep into their resources. The other thing that we're so used to seeing with Shakhtar is this cosmopolitan nature of their lineup, particularly the Brazilians. Lassina Traore is the only non-Ukrainian in their starting lineup tonight. And
he's the only players that costed more than 3 million. They signed it last season from Ajax when De Zerbi was the manager, and the team was full of Brazilian. They lost them all. They didn't even receive the transfer fees, of course, because they were free agents, so they had to rebuild with young Ukrainian players.
Oh, Blasvic coming a long way out of his goal to try and do some defending, and he looks like he might just have got away with it from a Leipzig point of view. Eventually, when the whistle blows, it's for a foul by Traore, but it was one of those moments for defenders where they suddenly turn around and the goalkeeper is stood right next to him, and they're thinking, what on earth is he doing there? There's 3 of us in close proximity, and all he's done is cause chaos that Leipzig were able to navigate their route out of, and eventually it was a foul by Traore on his opposite number, Simica, that was penalised, but that could have been a moment of catastrophe for the side that is leading 1-0 as we approach half-time.
Because there was no danger whatsoever to the back line of the Leipzig. Blasvic comes out, kind of touches the ball with his head, he kind of loops it, and then, yes, he generates chaos. Stay on your line. Simple as.
They are notoriously bonkers, aren't they, goalkeepers? Sometimes. The characters of the dressing rooms, and most teammates would always pick out the goalkeeper as being the guy with the real character in the team, and every so often that character manifests itself in terms of charging out of a penalty area. It's all getting a little bit tetchy. Bondarenko is the latest to go lunging into a challenge which maybe was avoidable. Orban on the receiving end, 1 or 2 of Orban's teammates coming to his defence immediately, but actually what's good to see is Bondarenko and Orban have shaken hands, and that's diffused the situation.
The Shakhtar players have left a couple on the Leipzig players. Okay, obviously there is aggressivity there. We have to remember Werner came out injured, so obviously that's going to play on the back of the Leipzig minds when they're going to protest and argue with the referee. We were talking about the Shakhtar recruitment and overhaul, so of course they had to bring a lot of young players, but the blueprint of the way Shakhtar plays stay there. From the Zerbi, they like to play from the back. They like to soak up and invite pressure. They are obviously gambling for technical, skillful players, so they haven't lost the pedigree at all, although, of course, no foreign contingent.
Traore's done brilliantly. Somehow kept the situation alive when it looked unfavourable. His ball into the penalty area has been dealt with by Leipzig, but that was outstanding centre-forward play from Lassina Traore. isolated, seemingly with nowhere to go, and very nearly picking out Bondarenko in the middle.
He managed to turn around inside out and then put in the cross away. Unfortunately for Shakhtar, there was no one on the side of the pitch, but yeah, great play from Traore, good skills, good strength as well. It is a route that they need to try to exploit a little bit more.
They have come into it. We're in the final couple of minutes of the first half. Without anything to necessarily write home about, there have been a couple of moments of encouragement from Shakhtar that suggests that this game is not won by any stretch of the imagination yet at 1-0 to Leipzig.
Jovicevic will think, we have not been great these first 45 minutes, but we are only 1-0 down, so that's good. Rose will think, we've been better, and it looks like that when we push on the accelerator, we can score a couple. Although, I must say, since Werner came out, I think they lost a little bit of mobility up front.
Bondarenko controlling the ball in midfield for Shakhtar, who have 60 first half seconds plus stoppage time to go in search of an equaliser. They have it, though, back on the edge of their own area now with Matvienko, who needs an outlet, and one is eventually supplied by Mikhailichenko. Sudakov is the player now with the ball at his feet, and he's spreading it across the defensive line to Bondar. But Leipzig have got themselves back into really good positions, and they've not left too many gaps for Shakhtar to play those little balls in. It's very difficult for them to play on the half turn. Everything's got to be into feet. Everything's got to be relatively pedestrian in terms of the pace, and that is why they've struggled to get in behind Leipzig on a regular basis in this first half. They might just have one final chance to do so as they edge gradually forward down the right-hand side. And that's a good ball forward for Petriak, who's looking to drag Gvardiol out of position. Oh, wonderful ball into the penalty area. Mudrak is in, but the ball would not sit for him, and he could not get a shot away.
Well left by his teammate, who couldn't get to the ball, but knew Mudrik was coming from behind. The ball was slightly ahead of Mudrik, otherwise he probably would have hit on the ball. He starts well on the right with a first-time pass, and they managed to open up the Leipzig defense.
Into one additional minute at the end of the first half. Again, that little moment that might just offer Shakhtar some half-time encouragement. Mudrik with the ball at his feet, being tracked by Jobajlai, looking to squeeze between him and Simikan. It's come off the latter, and it'll be a throw deep in Leipzig territory with 20 seconds remaining for Shakhtar Donetsk to try and create something. Throw-in taken to Mudrik, back to Mikhailichenko. Into the feet of Matvienko. First time, really, we've seen both Shakhtar central defenders in the Leipzig half, as they are now, but they've been forced back towards goalkeeper Trubin, who's a long way out of his penalty area. safely back to his goalkeeper to make sure that no further drama comes from that situation. 2.5 minutes played in the second half. Shakhtar 0, RB Leipzig 1. As things stand, RB Leipzig going through with 12 points in second place behind a Real Madrid side that would have 13 points by virtue of what looks like it's going to be a home win for them over bottom of the section Celtic. Celtic 4 points behind Shakhtar in third, so there was no doubt whatsoever about Shakhtar's continuing involvement in European competition. It was just to be determined with which flavour of competition it was going to be. It could yet still be the Champions League, but they would need to come from behind to win this game now. Ball out towards the right-hand side, where Koneplea, the right-back, was looking to get forward, but it's broken for Leipzig. Here's Schlager. Forward towards Nkunku. We wanted the ball to come to him rather than to go towards it, and that enabled Matvienko to step in and take over and spread it out to Mihailichenko on the left-hand side. He's closed down by Simikan. 3.5 minutes on the clock in the second half in Warsaw. Shakhtar looking to overturn the 1-0 deficit. They've got to retreat now as Simikan comes pouring forward. Plays it in field towards Nkunku. Is Campbell and Schlager, and back they go towards Orban, and again Leipzig are offering a demonstration that they are not willing to overcommit forward, to leave gaps that can be exploited. They are more than happy to dictate a relatively steady tempo of game in the attempt to preserve in the main their 1-0 deficit, and then maybe extend it when the opportunity presents itself, which it might just do now. Andre Silva, left-hand side. Brown forward from left-back, clips it into the penalty area where it took a flick, might yet come to something as it's headed back across the face of goal, and oh, it's gone in! An incredible goal! Simikan back across the face of goal, and it more or less struck Andre Silva and crept in at the near post. RB Leipzig leads 2-0, and their place now in the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League all but assured. Shakhtar 0, RB Leipzig 2.
Andre Silva couldn't quite believe it, his luck, because this ball from left ballooned in the air after the header from Simikan. There was a big indecision from the Shakhtar defense, and in particular the goalkeeper Turbin, who could have claimed it, and in the end the ball goes to the far post, and is Silva jumping, hitting it with his shin. The ball trickles into the bottom corner. A very bizarre goal. There were 3 Shakhtar players against 2 Leipzig players. In the end, it's a tricky rebound, and the goal goes in, and the ball goes in.
Well, it was one of those. It's a great finish. For seeing the angle from the other side, it's a really good instinctive finish from Andre Silva. His 6th goal of the season, his 3rd in the Champions League. He didn't get a clear look at it as it looped back across the face of goal from Simikan. But it was one of those, it was so unconventional looking that you assume there had to be something wrong with it. There must have been some kind of infringement. Goals aren't scored like that. Something must have, the whistle was bound to blow, but no, really, really good finish from a tight angle with not much to aim at and not much time to adjust himself from Andre Silva. And Leipzig now, surely their place in the round of 16 is no longer under jeopardy.
We need to give credit to Andre Silva. I think I was harsh in my comment before. He actually sticks a leg, well-timed it, and he kicks it towards Turbin, who is caught into mind whether he has to come out, where he needs to make it short to the ball. But in the end, it's a good goal for Leipzig that seals it completely, making the most of a defensive mistake, we must say, because Leipzig got to the area very easily with Raum without accelerating too much, and in the end, the first header from Simikan should have been cleared.
Well, in many ways, you and I were lulled into that false sense of security, just as Shakhtar were defensively. It looked like Leipzig weren't going anywhere particularly quickly. They were more than happy just to be retaining possession. And then that explosion to get Raum away on the left, and that's when the chaos all suddenly ensued. But Leipzig have done tremendously well to get themselves 2-0 in front, and Shakhtar, well, they can't die wandering now. They've got to push themselves forward, and Stepanenko is looking to do just that. In it comes, though, into the penalty area, looping into the arms of Blaswich, and it will be just bowled out by him nice and calmly. Leipzig leading 2-0, Rob.
Real Madrid have scored a 3rd. They are 3-0 up 7 minutes into the second half. This time it's Marco Asensio who's got on the score sheet. Nice build-up play. Toni Kroos creeping towards the edge of the area. Danny Carvajal picked up the ball off him, right side of the box, cut back and arriving, right place, right time. Asensio smashed it left-footed, lovely finish. Madrid are going to win the group. Group F, it's Real Madrid 3, Celtic 0.
And Leipzig are going to finish second unless there is a quite dramatic turnaround now in this game that they look very much in control of. And indeed, they're looking now to get themselves into a position to extend their lead. Simikan on the right, up against Mikhailichenko, the left-back. Back it goes to Schlager, clipped in towards Andre Silva. And Nkunku was in there as well. He went to ground, but nothing untoward, and Shakhtar can clear. That was a real sort of loitering with menace kind of manoeuvre, wasn't it, from Leipzig to line all the pieces up where they wanted them to be before the cross came in, and wasn't quite on target. It may just be next time. This has been a really well-measured performance from the Bundesliga side.
It's a top-team performance, you know, away from home in a difficult match, managing the ball so well and knocking it from left to right, not at an exceptional tempo, but at the same time being able to unlock the Shakhtar defense and bringing 3 or 4 players all the time inside the box, and then, you know, good players make things happen, as we saw.
Szoboszlai away from Stepanenko onto the edge of the penalty area. Nkunku with the flick on. Oh, what an outstanding goal that would have been. Forsberg's effort tipped over the bar by Trubin. Might have been sailing clear of the target anyway. Needed a touch from the goalkeeper to make absolutely sure, but a wonderfully fluid movement. No, I reckon that was heading into the roof of the net, but for Anatoly Trubin's intervention would have been 3-0. Instead, it's a Leipzig corner.
That was the move of the game. Very well brought forward by Szoboszlai. Good pass, and then Nkunku with the flick, with the back heel. The awareness of knowing that Forsberg is behind him without looking at him. And, you know, the Swede tried to put it just right behind the cross, but good save from Trubin.
Brown with the corner from the left-hand side, left-footed, an out-swinger, which is more or less controlled by Traore inside his own penalty area, and eventually away by Sudakov. And here they come. Shakhtar are in business here, because Traore's kept himself onside. He's got Campbell in pursuit. Traore is in and goes to ground under the challenge from Campbell, who says he got the ball. Flag is up. Offside decision given from the initial ball through. Well, it was Schlager who attempted to cut it out initially. Traore, well, it was very close, he and Campbell, and then Campbell sliding in. Well, I don't think he did get the ball. I think if it hadn't been for the offside, there would be a very, very strong case for a penalty here. But unless the offside decision is overturned, Shakhtar are going to be disappointed.
I think it's a stonewall penalty because he drags his arm and then he trips him with his leg in tackle, Campbell. So, madness, because Leipzig were in control. They had a corner. They overcommitted players forward. Schlager couldn't clear it on the halfway line, and Traore was away. Now, Traore has got a lot of quality. One of them is not the pace, because, of course, Campbell made...
Well, there's a lot of him. There's a lot of him.
It's good technical, physicality. He's not pacey. Campbell recovered. He made 3 or 4 meters on him. Now they are checking the penalty. The way they are checking the penalty, I think, is a foul. If there is no offside. Okay?
Yeah. So, well, no. Chris Kavanagh, the video assistant referee, had a penalty check going on whilst he waited for confirmation from the offside decision, and it was as given on the field, offside, rubber stamp, so no need to continue to review a potential penalty. But they were doing 2 things simultaneously there, the VAR team, and in the end they decided that Michael Oliver and his assistants got the decision right in the first place. But that was tight. That was really, really close.
That's the clearest chance the Shakhtar have had so far in the game. A bit of a self-inflicted pain from Leipzig, because really they were in control and somehow they lost the ball in midfield. Maybe Traore could have timed this run a little bit better, but he was really, really marginal. He didn't have the time to get the shot away as he wanted, and maybe was fouled by Campbell as well. Maybe encouragement for Shakhtar. You know, this Leipzig side have few mistakes in them.
Petrak on the right for Shakhtar, looking to cross, but that cross is charged down by Gvardiol. Petrak infield for Konoplia, who was fouled by Forsberg. All of a sudden, it's got a bit ragged from Leipzig, who went 2-0 up on 50 minutes and seemingly very much in control. And ever since then, well, Shakhtar with a little bit more, I suppose, commitment in terms of getting into the Leipzig half have looked more threatening, and they have themselves a free kick, 58 minutes played. And this is a free kick very nearly level with the penalty area on the right-hand side that Michailo Mudryk has come across to take. Right-footed, looking to whip it across the face of goal. It's not a bad one. Traore got a touch, but it's a touch that took it away from rather than towards the goal. And then it's hoisted high into the air by Mihailichenko. And Blasvic needs a little bit of encouragement to come off his line and gather it, but he eventually does.
Yeah, Szoboszlai left it, the ball bounced, and the keeper had still to come out. Chaotic moments of the game, certainly not what Leipzig wants or would like at the moment. They need to try to reimpose their better technical ability on the pitch.
Shakhtar do need to score 3 times to change the makeup of Group F as it is now, live with Real Madrid going through as group winners, Leipzig in 2nd place, Shakhtar going into the Europa League in 3rd place. Here comes some alterations, the first since the early enforced one that saw the departure of Timo Werner. It's going to be a change at right back, and Lucas Taylor on loan from PAOK, sent off at the weekend in the 2-2 draw with Alexandria. He is coming on right back for Konoplia, and there's a change up front. Traore departs to be replaced by Danilo Sican, who has come on as a substitute 3 times already in the group stage of this season's UEFA Champions League. Is yet to start in the competition. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't sent Sican on to play with Traore, bearing in mind that they need 3 goals. There's a 3rd alteration as well, in fact, because Nevin Jurasek, the Croatian, he is coming on. He does so in place of Georgi Sudakov. So there will at least continue to be one non-Ukrainian on the field. The Bakanabe striker Traore off. Instead a Croatian now on in the shape of Neven Jurasek. Has gone out of play. There was a suggestion from Forsberg was apologising. I thought he was trying to suggest he hadn't touched the ball. He was apologising for the miscontrol that saw it spear out of play off his outstretched leg. And Shakhtar from their own right-back position with an hour played are looking to once again create a threat at 2-0 down that might give them some hope of getting back into the contest. But well, they've opted for a switch of striker rather than to send 2 on. It looks as though Stepanenko might play a little bit further forward now in terms of some creativity. He was just applying some pressure further up the field than we've seen him do previously, because for a majority of the time he's been the deepest lying of the midfielders. He's dropped back into that pocket of space for the time being, but maybe there's a little bit more fluidity to come about the Shakhtar team as a Shakhtar player goes to ground under a challenge from Campbell, but is immediately waved to his feet by Michael Oliver, who did not think that was a free kick, and is suggesting the players just get on with things. With Leipzig leading through the 10th minute goal scored by Christopher Nkunku, and one scored 5 minutes into the 2nd half by Andre Silva. An unusual but ultimately very well taken goal from the Portuguese to go with the 2 he scored in that 3-1 win over Celtic that set Leipzig on their way to the round of 16 after they'd lost their opening 2 games of this group stage, 4-1 at home to Shakhtar and 2-0 on their travels at Real Madrid on match day 2.
It looks like they're settled down again. Leipzig, they're controlling the ball well in their own half. Let's see if Rose now responds with a few changes. There is, of course, Dani Olmo, the Spanish international, on the bench, who's been injured.
He'd love the minutes.
He'll have to play a bit because obviously he wants to go to the World Cup, so he needs to come on. So let's see if he moves the bench. Haidar as well has been slightly injured at the weekend, so let's see if he changes something. For Shakhtar, yeah, changes like for like. We also have to say that Shakhtar, they are unfortunate because they are without Shved and Zubkov, who scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. Shved, of course, scored also in the reversed fixture, so a lack of options there for Jovicevic, who somehow must be happy about what he sees, because yes, he hasn't alterated the system too much.
Campbell winning the ball back and sending Nkunku away, and there's a little poke through pass here for Szoboszlai, who looks to go around the goalkeeper and has come up with a brilliant finish as the angle tightened Dominik Szoboszlai makes absolutely sure of Leipzig's victory, and they are going to win 4 successive in the UEFA Champions League for the first time in their history. This is a job very, very nicely done by them in Warsaw, because Leipzig lead Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-0.
And since the moment Szoboszlai picked up the pass from Kunku, no doubt about it, the Hungarian was going to score. Composed, heads up high, he goes around the keeper, and then with the right foot he slots it into the empty net. There's a 3-0 for Leipzig, totally deserved. A goal for Szoboszlai, who's been quiet so far this game, but he came to the game when he needed it. And another assist for the complete striker that is Kunku. He scored, he gives assist, and Leipzig are through to the next round.
Seen a tearful Shakhtar Donetsk fan in the stands, accepting that the game is now up. There'll be another day for them. Their next day in UEFA club competition will be in the Europa League. Dominik Szoboszlai's first goal in the Champions League since match day 6 of last season has made it 3-0, Rob.
Thank you, Stephen. Elsewhere, it is now Real Madrid 4, Celtic 0. And Vinicius Junior has got himself on the score sheet. Ball worked out to the right-hand side by Real Madrid. And it's a low whip cross from near the corner flag by Fede Valverde. It was into a close area towards Joe Hart, but Vinicius Junior got there first. So Modric, Rodrigo, Asensio and Vinicius Junior all scoring. No Benzema tonight, although he has just come on for the final 30 minutes. Real Madrid 4, Celtic 0.
3-0 RB Leipzig in Warsaw against Shakhtar Donetsk. Marco Rosa's transformation of this Bundesliga side has been absolutely remarkable. 9 unbeaten, won 7 of them before tonight. Extraordinary sequence of results in what has been a really, really hectic, busy October for them across the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and now the Champions League tonight yet again. They have taken it all, though, in their stride, and others have struggled to cope with the intensity and the regularity of the matches. They have just been absolutely phenomenal at times of late, and this is a really great sequence of results that they are putting together, this unbeaten run, having lost 4 of the previous 5.
And the Leipzig management must be very happy and must be have a drink or two tonight, because they've done the right choice. They sacked the manager at the right time. They changed him. They brought in Leipzig born and bred Marco Rose, a person that knows the RB universe very well, because he managed, of course, Salzburg, and he fit in very, very well. It's very difficult to qualify from the Champions League if you lose the first 2 games. So this is remarkable, and they've gone in this a great run. He has unlocked the talent that we knew he was there. Everyone tipped Leipzig to compete in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. They're a bit far from them, but let's see, because the season is long, they can still make up the ground.
Bayern München are not finding it as easy to compete in the Bundesliga this season as many thought that they might. It's been fascinating, the situation at the top. Shakhtar have only got themselves to blame for this, by the way, because of course it was the result that they enjoyed over Leipzig on match day 1 which led to the departure of Domenico Tedesco and the transformation that we've seen from Leipzig more recently, which will almost certainly, barring something quite extraordinary in the final 25 minutes, see them extend their unbeaten run to 10 games in all competitions as they win a free kick for the challenge on Raul, and the yellow card is out again for a Shakhtar player. Some of the timing of their challenges tonight, and Lucas Taylor it is who has been showing the yellow card on that occasion, has not been the decision-making in terms of the challenges has not at times been as good as it might have been.
And on Monday, the 7th of November, there are going to be 4 German teams in the draw, which is quite unusual. Of course, Bayern Munich is going to be seeded, 3 teams unseeded, Leipzig, Dortmund, and yesterday winners, the great surprise of Eintracht Frankfurt.
Well, here come the changes for Leipzig. 3-0 up, comfortably so. Henrichs is coming on at right back for Simicat. That's a nice and straightforward alteration that doesn't require too much in terms of fiddling around. Dani Olmo and Marcel Hulstenberg the others being introduced, Rob, midway through this second half, with Leipzig 3-0 up.
Thanks, Stephen. One of our feature games later, Juventus versus Paris Saint-Germain. Team news is in. John Bradley.
Both as expected, Rob, but Juventus have Szczesny in goal. It's a back three of Gatti, Bonucci and Alexandro in midfield. Quadrado on the right, Kostic on the left, and it's Rabiot, Locatelli and the weekend matchman and Nicolo Fagiolo.
They've scored again. They've scored again, RB Leipzig. Extraordinary. Just moments after the alterations were made, Dani Olmo has made it 4-0. Extraordinary second half. They are finding the back of the net all too easily, including a player scoring with his first touch of the evening. And the point's very much safe now. This has been an unbelievably impressive performance from Leipzig, who lead 4-0.
He only managed 50 minutes on the pitch this season, Dani Olmo, after his injury. Now he's back. He's a great player, very important for Leipzig. He wants to go to the World Cup with Spain, and what an introduction, what a change for Marco Rose. And now it's a very heavy scoreline. We are seeing again the goal on our monitors is Campbell, who lays it off for Dani Olmo on the left-hand side, and he curls it beautifully with his right foot. The ball kisses the post and goes in. What a goal from the Spaniards.
Well, you don't need to warm up. A little bit of a flick off a defender on its way in. The Shakhtar fans cannot believe it. After winning 4-1 in Leipzig on match day 1, they are now losing 4-0 as the home side on match day 6. Dani Olmo's statistics, well, they tell us 1 attempt on target, 1 goal. I think we can also add 1 touch.
I mean, 100%. He can retire basically after today. No, but it's a great introduction. A player with confidence. I mean, obviously a player that has been through a lot of pain, a lot of injuries recently. He comes to the game and to the foe in the right moment. It's a good news for Leipzig, of course, for the next couple of games. For Spain, he's the player that they really need to change games, and is a player we've been missing, you know. And you think about Szoboszlai comes off, Olmo comes on. All of a sudden, you look at the depth of this Leipzig team. Nobody will want to face them in the draw on Monday, as they're going to be in pot, of course, in the unseeded pot.
Well, yes, they will be. You feel one of the unseeded sides to avoid, especially that the form that they are in, heading towards 4 successive victories in the UEFA Champions League for the first time. The only previous time they won 3 in the Spinners on their run to the semi-finals in 2020, which included both legs of the tie against Tottenham. So they were already in unprecedented territory in terms of winning 3 in the Spin in the group stages of this competition. It's about to become 4 from 4. And this is a very, very satisfactory evening from their point of view. It was Szoboszlai, by the way, who went off for Dani Olmo. So the scorer of the 3rd goal has been replaced by the scorer now of the 4th goal. Olmo had only played 50 minutes previously to tonight since recovering from a knee injury across 3 substitute appearances. So he's going to get a decent chunk of time tonight in terms of not only his aspirations of getting back into the Leipzig first team on a regular basis, but also in terms of proving himself ahead of the World Cup that he's fit and firing for Spain. Free kick in the right-back position for Shakhtar as Lucas Taylor goes to ground. 4-0. This is better than they could have possibly have hoped for, Rob.
Certainly is. Real Madrid are 4 up on Celtic, by the way. 20 minutes to play there. Let's go to John Bradley. John, we rudely interrupted you with the goal with the team news.
How dare you? Disgusted. When you got Daniele in, I'm not going to exaggerate, but we did get to Fagioli, which is one of the great Italian names.
Which means beans.
Brilliant. Awesome. Quadrado, Kostic, Miretti and Milik will lead the line. For Paris, it's Donnarumma in goal, Hakimi, Ramos, Marquinhos, Bernat, Verratti, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, Messi, Mbappe, and as we expected, it's Soler who will play just off them, we believe.
Thanks, John. That's one of our feature games later. Who will win that group? Who will go through in the Europa League? Elsewhere in Madrid, I said it was 4-0. It's now 5-0, and Fede Valverde, who's become an expert at long-range goals, has scored another. What a crisp strike. Edge of the box, centre of the area, right-footed. Pick another ball from Lucas Vazquez. 5-0.
Andre Silva for Leipzig, who are looking to replicate that in Warsaw. 1-2 with Dani Olmo. Oh, not quite back into the path of Andre Silva. Otherwise, he would have been in for his second of the night. Instead, it is smothered by Anatoly Trubin. This Group F, I guess, is eventually lining up as we thought it probably would do, in terms of Real Madrid finishing top, Leipzig being second, Shakhtar third, Celtic fourth. But it's been a fascinating journey to get to that conclusion.
Yeah, because there've been a lot of twists, you know, in the plot with obviously Leipzig losing the first 2 games. Perhaps we expected a little bit more from Celtic. I feel next season they'll come with stronger, with more chances. They will know how to take the chances. If I think about the 2 games against Shakhtar, they could have got more than 2 points there. But it's been fascinating, you know, in a group where a lot of goals have been scored. Real Madrid has scored 15, Leipzig has scored 14. So, you know, definitely up to the Champions League stand.
Stepanenko with the ball forward. Shakhtar looking to get themselves onto the score sheet, looking to get a consolation, looking to give the scoreline a bit of respectability. But Leipzig aren't in the mood to be charitable, as it's carried away by Schlager out towards the right-hand side as they attack. Shakhtar, though, have won it back. And here comes a shot from the edge of the penalty area, which hits the top of the net rather than the back of the net, despite the cheers of 1 or 2 of a Shakhtar persuasion inside the stadium. It was Mihailo Mudryk taking aim. He wasn't too far away from reducing the deficit.
Great right foot strike. I'm not sure how much awareness Blaszczak had that strike was going just slightly over his head.
He was very confident about it.
I think he left it all the way, but a great strike from Mudryk, who by far has been the best player of Shakhtar. A little bit of a frustrating night for him. He tried to come to the center a little bit more. He let it flash just wide, but, you know, another good player. Only 21 years old Mudryk, who now is going to get replaced, who we're looking forward to seeing the Europa League, of course, in February.
Andriy Totovitsky is coming on for a Champions League debut in his place. That seems like a sensible move from Igor Jovicevic, disappointing as it is to see Mihailo Mudryk depart without having the kind of impact on the game that he might otherwise have done. They still have 5 more matches to play in the Ukrainian Premier League before the winter break. So it's a pretty hectic schedule for them between now and the end of November. Just 3 games to play for Leipzig before the World Cup break, as far as they're concerned, after tonight. So with a 5-point gap to make up at the top of the table to Dnipro, and with that game in hand, not a bad idea to keep Mudryk safely wrapped up and out of any potential harm's way.
Because, I mean, despite all the challenges that Ukrainian teams face this season, some of them play in Ukraine, some of them playing in Poland, there is still a competitive league to go through. The manager Jovicevic did stress it out, the professionalism and the competitiveness of the game. And of course, Shakhtar has to honor their matches. It's not easy. We said it many times, the journey times. They spend a lot of time on the buses. This week, Jovicevic said, when the other teams go for the Yakutsi, we are on the bus. Just to highlight how difficult it's been for them so far.
Campbell for Olmo, fouled, edge of the penalty area. Sliding in was Mikhailichenko. And that'll be a Leipzig free kick. Right on the edge of the penalty area, but out towards the right-hand corner of it. So it's not a foregone conclusion that this is a shot at goal, but bearing in mind he's already on a yellow card, that was a bit of a silly one from Mikhailichenko, and he's presented Leipzig with yet another opportunity, leading 4-0 and seemingly in the mood to further improve on that scoreline. It is Nkunku who is still on the field, and Holstenberg, who's one of those that has come on amongst the flurry of second-half substitutes, who is standing over it. It would, you think, favour the left foot of Holstenberg, but Nkunku looks very interested. And it is Nkunku trying to curl it into the top corner, and he's not too far off target. It was one of those that was a little too high and a little too wide, and Trubin had it covered.
It would have been a wonderful goal, because it was the position really for a left-footed strike, but he struck it with his right foot over the wall, over the bar on the post, covered by Trubin. But again, great confidence from the French player.
Orban goes to ground, but he goes to ground under some pressure from Sika. So that will be a free kick to RB Leipzig, who, just thinking, it might just worth a quick little look to double check what their biggest away win is in UEFA club competition. Their biggest away win is a 5-0 success at Club Brugge
last year
in the group stages of the Champions League last season. So they could well yet replicate that. Here comes Dani Olmo looking to do so into the feet of Nkunku, who has an overlapping run outside him, and across the penalty area it comes. It was Diallo looking to steer it into the path of a teammate, and it's behind off Mihailichenko for a corner.
Olmo has sparked something. I obviously gave a bit more interest to the game. That obviously the result is not in discussion. This pass to Nkunku. Nkunku wanted the ball forward. He got almost stuck under his feet, and then the pass for the arriving Diallo wasn't the greatest, but again another corner for Leipzig, comfortable, cruising towards the win and the deserved qualification.
Here comes the resulting Leipzig corner with 13 minutes remaining. They're leading 4-0. Andre Silva looking to get on the end of it. It comes out as far, though, in the end, as the edge of the penalty area, and Campbell, who plays it square across the box to Gvardiol. Gvardiol to Hendricks. Forward into the feet of Olmo, who's allowed to turn and spin and try and play the ball across the face of goal, and it takes a deflection of Jurasek, and behind it goes for another Leipzig corner.
We lost count of the corners. They're piling up the pressures, really. Now the tempo of the game has slowed down. It's much more likely that Leipzig might score the 5th rather than Shakhtar get one on the score sheet. 10 minutes to go. Again, very convincing from Leipzig.
Cross from the right, a deep one, and it was Holstenberg taking aim, and it cannoned back off him after it hit Lucas Taylor, who was blocking his path towards goal. So it'll be a goal kick. 12 minutes remaining, 4-0. Leipzig up. Apologies to Lucas Taylor, who didn't need to get involved at all. It was straight wide of Holstenberg. It was it was one of those where you thought, well, it must have taken. There must have been a couple of deflections to take it that wide of the target.
He hits it with his shin. He tries to side foot it with his left foot, whereas he could have maybe struck a little bit more cleanly. It's easy when you're a commentator.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Generosity I mean, now we are criticizing. He should have done this. He should have done that. But it was not an easy strike.
I mean, he probably should use his right foot, but he's very left.
Oh, right, yeah, just.
It's been a strange old game. There's been periods of inactivity and then all of a sudden explosions. We might be able to get another one here now as Gvardiol powering forward from the heart of the defences. Diallo just about managed to get themselves regrouped. It was Stepanenko who got the ball clear for now, and then there was a bit of indecision as to who was going to take over from a Leipzig point of view, and Lucas Taylor can poke it up the touchline to Bondarenko, but his ball in field is well picked off by a Leipzig player, Andre Silva. Here's Dani Olmo, stuck it through the legs of Mihailichenko, then went to ground. But no free kick awarded on this occasion. It's back with goalkeeper Trubin, and they can look to play it out. I have to say, I mean, the press is pretty intense from Leipzig with just 10 minutes remaining, and considering how comfortable their lead is, they are absolutely not taking their foot off the throats as far as Shakhtar are concerned.
Relentless. There are always 2 or 3 players very close to the ball, but despite that, Shakhtar find an opening now.
They've worked their way out of the press, and here's Petrak on the right-hand side, playing it in field, and then the shot cannons off a Leipzig player as it came in from Sikan, and it'll be a Shakhtar Donetsk corner, just as they look like they might have been opening up that Leipzig defence. That should have been a free kick. It was a clothesline from Mihailichenko on Olmo, who clearly very smartly disguised it from the view of the referee. Dani Olmo is just having a quick chat with Michael Oliver, just letting him know what he previously missed at the other end of the field.
There was a clear foul, of course, but I mean, being the game 4-0, obviously, not much of an arguing there. Another sub, the last one for Shakhtar.
Yeah, and another player being sort of saved for another day as they take the corner kick, and it's flicked on at the near post. And at least an effort on target, which is grabbed by Blažević. But yeah, I think that might be the first Shakhtar effort on target, and it's come in the final 10 minutes of the game. The header from Bondor. No problem whatsoever for the goalkeeper. That is far too late in the game, though, for Shakhtar to be threatening in that kind of fashion.
There is a very old cliche in football, which once I heard from a South American colleague: 2 headers in the box is a goal. Well, this time there were 2 headers in the box, but the second one was very, very tame. So it was basically a pass to Blažević, but Blažević makes the first save. And that's, I think, sums it up a bit, the night for Shakhtar, a night where all the eyes of Europe, or the football in Europe, were on them. It was a big occasion for them. They were facing a stronger opposition, which they beat in different fashion in match day one. And they really never had the chance to keep going, to trouble Leipzig too much. And in the end, maybe the occasion got the better of them, but I like to think that the best team technically overall won, and deservedly those three.
I think we felt collectively as though Leipzig had enough to get what they required this evening, the points to make sure they progressed. I'm not sure too many people expected that they would overturn the result in the reverse fixture and improve their head-to-head standing against Shakhtar at the same time, but that is exactly what they have managed to do. What a complete transformation from a 4-1 defeat to be leading 4-0 with 7.5 minutes remaining, and it has been utterly dominant from the Bundesliga side, who are attacking with Olmo down the right-hand side, who has already scored since coming on as a substitute and is getting some very useful minutes in his legs as well. But that first goal since his injury, his first goal since a win over fourth-tier Teutonia in the German Cup, early rounds of the German Cup. So he will be feeling an awful lot better about things. He got one in the Super Cup defeat by Bayern as well. There's a flag up against Forsberg, who was retreating from an offside position. So Shakhtar avoid any further defensive concerns for the time being, but immediately as they play the free kick short, look up and see white shirts swarming all around them again. Here's Forsberg. Pass has been misplaced. This is Forsberg into Nkunku, does just enough to help it on to the overlapping Hendricks on the right-hand side. Infield it comes from him to Campbell. Campbell onto Diallo. Diallo into the feet of Olmo. Forsberg. Diallo. He's going to go for goal himself, and that was well off target. Abdou Diallo, the player on loan from Paris, sends it into the stands. Leipzig, though, 4-0 up, 6 minutes remaining. They don't need any more. Job very much emphatically done, Rob.
Better team news. Chelsea take on Dinamo Zagreb. Dinamo looking to qualify for the Europa League. They can still do that in that section with Milan and Salzburg, but they'd need to win at Stamford Bridge tonight. Edouard Mendy starts with Kepa out injured. For Chelsea, Kepa's been Chelsea's first-choice goalkeeper under Graham Potter. 4-2-2-2, the formation. Aubameyang and Havertz up front. Denis Zakaria, who joined on loan from Juventus late in the January transfer window, makes his Chelsea debut tonight at Stamford Bridge. Orsic and Petkovic, the familiar front for two for Dinamo Zagreb. They beat Chelsea match day one. They might as well go for it tonight. Speaking of going for it, Celtic have got a goal back, and they have threatened it at Real Madrid this evening. It is a wonderful free kick from Jota's, just swept it in right-footed through the wall. There was a gap in the Real Madrid wall, and Thibaut Courtois saved a penalty. Actually made a few saves tonight. Can get a hand to it, but can't keep it out. Celtic have their consolation. They're going out of Europe, of course, but it's Real Madrid 5, Celtic 1.
Leipzig 4. Shakhtar 0 in Warsaw in the other game in Group F. And it could yet get worse for them, because they keep inviting on the pressure from Leipzig, who never previously played in Poland, despite the city of Leipzig being no more than 100 miles or so from the western Polish border. They've enjoyed their first visits to neighbouring territory this evening. Warsaw, the home of Legia Warsaw, this municipal stadium, has been hosting Shakhtar Donetsk in the group stages of the Champions League. They so nearly had a memorable victory over Real Madrid here. This will be a much more chastening experience for them, and they're retreating again now with Dani Olmo clipping it in towards Andre Silva, who got up but couldn't get his head on the ball and couldn't turn it goalwards, and Shakhtar have cleared up as far as halfway. Gvardiol, little layoff for Campbell. Pretty much all of the players, with the exception of Younes Blaszczak, are in the Shakhtar Donetsk half as Leipzig continue to push down the right-hand side, looking to extend, will extend this run away from home to 4 unbeaten. They've generally found victories a little bit harder to come by. Just 3 in 9 before tonight in the Champions League on their travels. This has been a real redressing of the normal way of things for them away from home this evening. They've got some defending to do now as Sikan looks to apply some pressure. Got Gvardiol in close proximity to him, but then Lachenko gets his wires all crossed and the ball rolls harmlessly out of play, and that was a moment, really, that breakdown in communication that pretty much sums up the way things have gone for Shakhtar tonight.
3 minutes to go, so a bit of homework. Who could Leipzig face in the next round? Napoli, as things stand, Porto, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, PSG.
Just seen again another replay of the fourth goal, the Dani Olmo goal. We said it had come off a Shakhtar player. That Shakhtar player was Valery Bondar, and his night's got a little bit worse because it's now officially gone down as an own goal against Bondar. It has been determined that Olmo's shot across goal was off target, was going wide before it got the touch off Bondar. So
that's weird, because since they changed the rules 15-20 years ago, there are no longer own goals these days. To chop off such a beautiful goal, it seems a bit of a shame, but you know, can't be argued, can it? It was a great shot from Olmo.
Well, another sport that I absolutely love and follow as closely as I can is ice hockey. And in ice hockey, the goal always goes down against the last attacking player to touch the puck.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how many deflections. It could have been seconds previously that they touched it, but it goes. You do see some crazy ones occasionally, but I quite like that rule, and I'm sure most defenders in football would be supportive of not having the goal go down against them, especially one that was so beautifully crafted as that one was by Leipzig. But ultimately the shot from Olmo was off target, so down it goes as a Bondar own goal. And yeah.
Or if you play the Fantasy League, it could be a devastating news or a great news, depending who you got in your team.
Anyone with Dani Olmo in that team is
has to cross out the
assist points instead.
Exactly.
Gvardiol is down and holding his right ankle. He's removed his boot. In fact, such as he is concerned, he just got into a little bit of a tangle there with Sikan, who came lunging in. In fact, the reason he had to take his boot off was because Sikan managed to remove it from the back of his foot, so it was the easiest thing for him to do was to take it off and put it back on correctly. Now, what's gone on here? A really late challenge, lunging in Sikan once again. Well, he's come on with his blood up and he's got involved, but you can overstep the line every so often, and that is exactly what Sikan has done, sliding in on Gvardiol as he cleared.
Gvardiol received 2 fouls in the time of 1 minute and a half. Before he laid off a pass with a back heel to the goalkeeper. Maybe it was a little bit of retaliation there. Yeah. But by the way, Gvardiol has been outstanding, not only today, also against Real Madrid.
Well, look, whenever people talk about him, you know, the verdict has always got to be he gets into the Croatian national team. You don't get into that 11 unless you're a really, really good player. You know, he doesn't necessarily have to justify every minute of every day, but he certainly is an outstanding central defender. They've got some defending to do here now, all of a sudden. Leipzig, chance for Shakhtar, chance to get a goal back. Todovitsky high over the crossbar when he had plenty of the goal to aim at.
Great chance. He could have perhaps controlled the ball. He had the time to bring it down. Gvardiol comes out on the right. They do leave a little bit of a gap. The clearance from Diallo, it's awful.
Hendricks wafting a leg at it.
He just stacks a leg, doesn't clear it, and in the end there is a chance, really. And now the full-time whistle.
And it's a mercy whistle from Michael Oliver. There is no stoppage time played at the Municipal Stadium.
Kepa won't be available for the game. Slight issue with his plantar fascia. Looking at probably days, but certainly not for the game tomorrow. Kovacic just precautionary with his calf. Got a chance for the game tomorrow. We'll make a decision later on.
And just Koulibaly, will he be available for selection now?
Yeah, he will, provided there's no reaction. He trained today, so he was fine. So he's available in the squad tomorrow.
Okay. Who's next? Anyone? Matt? No, just shout.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
With Kepa being announced, I know he played 45 minutes for you, the first start for Edward Normally. He had been sort of established in the one before. Have you spoken to him about that and how he's found it this last few weeks, sort of taking a bit of a step back and how he's going to find it coming back in?
Yeah, I've had some good chats with him. He's been great, top professional, very supportive. Obviously, he was injured when we first arrived, so Kepa played and Kepa did well. So he's honest enough and professional enough to know sometimes you have to be patient and work hard and support the team and support Kepa, which is exactly what he did. So can't ask any more. And he's made sure he's ready. He's made sure he's trained well. He's kept his standards really high, and now he's obviously got an opportunity. It's unfortunate for Kepa that it's come about like that, but that's life. That's professional football, and he's ready.
And just to follow on, do you now anticipate some difficult decisions in that position moving forwards with Mendy getting a chance to make it difficult for you?
Well, you hope so. You hope you have as many difficult decisions as possible all over the team, because then you've got competition and you've got good players pushing each other to improve, and that can only be beneficial for the team.
Adrian.
You said after the game on Saturday you wanted to give it a bit of time before you analysed the result, performance. When did you feel that time was right, and what were the sort of main conclusions you came to?
Well, it's been a process of since the game, to be honest. It's one of those things that you have to deal with. It's never nice to lose, and in the manner that we did was not pleasant. So yeah, I think we got caught up with the atmosphere. I think they came out the blocks very fast. We didn't do that ourselves, I would say, as well. So before we can talk about anything from a tactical perspective, we're 2-0 down, and then the environment is completely positive to the home team and not necessarily for us. We have a big chance to make it 2-1, and then the game probably came a little bit more open than we would like. I think their goalie makes another good save, but in the end we didn't do well enough to get the points. We scored after the second half, start of the second half. At that point, pushed a little bit. If we'd have scored, maybe it would have been interesting. As the game went into the last bits, when we're pushing to try and get a goal too much, probably it opens us up, and then the fourth one's disappointing, and the scoreline is what it is. But overall, we have to learn from the game, and we have to be better.
Because things in the Champions League are already resolved, I wonder what impact will Saturday have maybe on the approach tomorrow, whether that's your team selection, will it be a stronger team, or it might have been an opportunity maybe to change things up a bit and name an experimental team, for example, but how will Saturday impact?
Well, I think we have to have respect for the competition and respect for the teams. We have to prepare to win. We're at home. We want to finish the competition off well at this stage, and we want to respond from a disappointment at the weekend. That's what life is at this level, I think. So we'll pick a team that we think can win with respect to the opponent, and we'll try our best.
George.
Graham, hello. It's 20 days away from the World Cup. Are you a bit concerned Raheem Sterling's losing his form at the wrong time?
I've not thought about that, to be honest, in terms of the World Cup. I've not thought about it.
But for you, losing his form possibly for you too?
Well, that's your opinion. Every player has times in a season where it isn't necessarily going for them as well as they'd like it to. But again, as I've mentioned before, it's too easy to zoom into the individual. You need to look at the team and see how the team's functioning and how the team can help whatever player you mention. And that's what we've tried to do. You have to try and help the team improve, and then the individuals within it can do better.
Any more? Okay.
Yeah, obviously you've had some youngsters involved in the training sessions recently as well. Are we likely to see any of them? And has anybody in particular impressed you in your time at the club so far?
As I said before, I don't think it's a time to be just using young players just for the sake of it. I think we have to be competitive, and we have to be respectful of the competition. That still teams are looking for the points for their own qualification. So from our perspective, we have to try and pick a team that we think can win the game. But we've used a lot of the young players, like you said. A lot of them have been impressive. I like the character, I like the personality. And it's been an important part of how we've started here at Chelsea to get closer to the academy guys and to get to know them.
Okay, at the back.
Hello from Croatia, Dinamo TV from Zagreb.
Hi.
Just wanted to hear something about Dinamo. Can you tell us how do you rate the team of Dinamo? And do you have a sense of from the locker room that guys want to make a revenge because you guys only lost in the Champions League against Dinamo, and that's why probably you are here.
Well, I mean, thanks for that.
Not the only reason, right?
Okay, yeah, I understand. Well, we've got first-hand experience that the Dinamo are a talented side with dangerous players, certainly in the front positions, dangerous, good width, well organised. You know, a quality team that you'd expect at this level. It's the Champions League, so they've earned the right to be here. They're still competing for the points, so we have to be good. We have to be ready for them. But we're looking forward to the game. We're looking forward to, I wouldn't say revenge, but of course we want to get a positive result because we're at home and we want to finish the competition off well. Since that game, I think we've taken steps forward, but we have to take steps again if we want to get the result.
Next team.
Yeah, from Arena Sport Croatia. What kind of the game do you expect tomorrow, technically speaking? Because in the first game, Chelsea had a lot of possession, but Dinamo managed to win the game.
Yeah, again, I don't think two games are the same, so I think that'd be wrong for us to think that, and you should never predict what the game's going to be. But we're at home. We need to realise that we should be the protagonists in the game because we're at home. We're at Stamford Bridge. We want to try and be proactive and try and create and be on the front foot. But at the same time, Dinamo have got dangerous players. They've got dangerous players if they defend deep. They can break. They can use the forwards well. They can spring from defence to attack in a dangerous manner. You have to look at the goal that they scored against us in the first game. It's a quality counter-attacking goal. So all the time, I think we understand the quality of the opponent, and then we have to just play the game, and whatever happens, happens.
Okay, last two. We have Tom and then Darren to finish.
Hi, Graham.
Hi.
You spoke about potential opportunities for young players. What about Dennis Zakaria tomorrow? Because obviously he hasn't had a game to Chelsea yet.
expectation, though, surely rests with the 7-time champions Milan, bottom of their group last year after ending a 7-year absence from the competition. Can they make it through to the round of 16 for the first time in 9 years? It has been the stated aim of their season by coach Stefano Pioli, and we are off and underway in Milan tonight. Salzburg in their all-grey kit, playing as we look at it from left to right in this first half, trying to launch the first attack.
Aubameyang, who midway inside the Dinamo Zagreb half plays it back in towards Zakaria. This is Chalobah, should I say. Mount over towards Ashby Aqueta on the right hand side, cleared out of play in the end by Peric, and by doing so has caused himself a bit of an injury, tangling in with the Chelsea skipper, and it's he who comes worse off than the two. So 2.5 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge. You are listening to the Flash Score live audio commentary service of the Champions League tie between Chelsea and Dinamo Zagreb, 0-0 as things stand, as we look at pictures of a very wet Ante Kacic, who is the Dinamo Zagreb manager, and another one of those long coats with a blue shirt underneath. Chelsea with the throw to be taken by Cesar Ashby Aqueta, cleared away by Dinamo Zagreb. Out of play for a throw-in to the Croatian champions, who find themselves 4 points clear at the top of the Croatian league table from Hajduk Split, as we would expect a large contingent of travelling fans making the trip from Croatia and making quite the noise for the occasion. Their last Champions League group game of the 2022-23 season. They may get the opportunity in Europe again in the Europa League, although they're going to have to win here and hope that AC Milan get the job done against RB Salzburg in the other game in the group. We'll give you updates on that one as the evening goes on. For Chelsea, it doesn't matter what happens, they will top the group no matter what happens at full time this evening, meaning on paper at least a more favourable draw in the knockout stages of the competition. This is Chalobah for Chelsea, just beyond the halfway out on the right hand side. Ashby Aqueta back in towards the path for Chalobah. Now towards Koulibaly. Chilwell, left hand side, around about the halfway mark. 4 minutes played, Chelsea 0, Dinamo Zagreb 0 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score audio commentary service. Mount to Sterling, Jorginho 5 yards inside the Dinamo Zagreb half, plays it out to his left, and Ben Chilwell, who in the middle of the park finds himself in the centre, back in towards the path of Koulibaly, looking to play the ball out towards Chilwell, but was intercepted in the process by Muharami. Aubameyang committing a foul on Lutowski. Middle of the park as Dinamo Zagreb look to attack down the right hand flank. The free kick taken quickly and moves out to the left hand side. Ademi for Dinamo Zagreb, now onto the edge of the box in towards the path of Ljubicic. 5 gone, Chelsea 0, Dinamo Zagreb 0. Dinamo Zagreb with possession on the halfway, out on the left hand side. The first time Chelsea really have had to think defensively in these opening forays at what is still a packed Stamford Bridge for a Champions League tie, which for them is no more than a dead rubber game. Interception ball, one back by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the battle of the number 9s with Petkovic on the halfway, although the referee has actually pulled the original foul by Trevor Chalobah on the half. Back it goes in towards the path of Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal, who thought that they're going to have a busy night, but remember back in September, a 3-0 win for Zagreb cost Thomas Tuchel his job. He'll be looking to do the double over the European champions of 2021. Ball in the possession of Vitowski, edge of the penalty area, plays it out to the right, and Muharami towards the back post, flicked on and flicked in towards Petkovic, who gives Dinamo Zagreb the lead. And against the run of play over the first 6.5 minutes, Chelsea caught cold at the back. Edouard Mendy looks towards his defence. The questions will be asked, but for Dinamo Zagreb, who beat Chelsea in the reverse fixture, is 1-0 up here at Stamford Bridge. And you have to say it's come out of nothing. Ball played out in towards the path of Muharami, who crosses the ball in, and it felt as if time almost stood still as the ball was flicked on. Mason Mount doesn't jump high enough towards it. It's flicked on in towards the path of Petkovic, who from around the penalty spot is completely unmarked by the Chelsea defence and was just allowed to head it past Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal, who should have got two hands to it, had two hands to it, but couldn't make it stick. And it is Chelsea 0, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here at Stamford Bridge after 7.5 minutes. Jorginho in possession and dispossessed. This is Petkovic, and suddenly Dinamo Zagreb could find themselves 2 up. They're on the counter, but it's well fought out by Zakaria to get it away. It was the initial challenge by Koulibaly, who now finds himself on the deck. And Petkovic is already finding himself a real danger. It was Zakaria with a challenge, and Petkovic inadvertently collides into Koulibaly. Nothing that anything could have been done about that. Going at full speed and Koulibaly in the way. And it's the Chelsea defender who comes off worse. Medical team are on, just giving treatment. There's word from the medical staff towards the bench. One of Graham Potter's coaches constantly in the air and updating the Chelsea boss on his progress. But Marc Cucurella and Thiago Silva have been sent to warm up for Chelsea. 9 minutes played. And Dinamo Zagreb have a 1-0 lead here at Stamford Bridge. This is one of 8 group matches as Koulibaly returns to his feet. Looking a bit ginger. Petkovic just shaking his hand as to say, hope you're okay. A little act of sportsmanship there. So he trudges off to the near-hand touchline. Kalidou Koulibaly. 8 games tonight, 6 currently live. So Real Madrid get the better of Celtic 5-1 at the Bernabeu in the early kick-off before RB Leipzig beat Shakhtar Donetsk 4-0 in Warsaw. Elsewhere, AC Milan 0, Salzburg 0 in this group, which would mean, as things stand in the group, Dinamo Zagreb will still finish bottom. They need an AC Milan win, and Milan can get the win, and the result stays the same here. They would find themselves in the Europa League come the turn of 2023. Jorginho just beyond the halfway, out in the centre for Chelsea, plays it out to the left-hand side and to Zakaria. Played in towards the path of Havertz. Chilwell now looking to move in towards the edge of the penalty area, but cleared away by Ristovski. As just out to the left of us, a number of stewards have had to make their way towards the front of the advertising hoardings where the Dinamo Zagreb fans occupy themselves this evening. Now, there is history of sides from Croatia, and Croatia, the national team itself, misbehaving in UEFA competition. You may remember back in 2018, England having to play a Nations League game against Croatia behind closed doors in Rijeka due to misbehaviours and misdemeanours by fans at Croatian national team matches. Let's hope that it's nothing more than just a few couple of moments, because their team have made a real positive start here at Stamford Bridge. 11 minutes in and they lead Chelsea by 1-0. Elsewhere in the competition, it's Copenhagen 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Also goalless between Juventus and PSG. Maccabi Haifa 0, Benfica 0, and Manchester City 0, Sevilla 0. So the only goal of the competition so far, in the 8 PM kickoffs at least, to come here this evening. There are a plethora of goals in our early kickoffs, and we're having a look at the replay on our monitor of the goal that gave Dinamo Zagreb the lead, and the reaction of the manager, Ante Kacic, who just raises a little fist in celebration. Nothing extravagant. Whereas it's only the beginning of the job, and Chelsea are going to have their moments over the next 80 minutes or so, but it's Dinamo Zagreb who move their way forward. Mendy comes out of his penalty area to clear ways. Dinamo Zagreb hack it forward first time, and what looked like just a pump forward could lead to an opportunity. Petkovic in towards the path of Muharami. Petkovic again back towards Rostovski. Right hand side, has to move it back towards the edge of the Chelsea half. Played out again towards the right hand side, but good out of play by Muharimi. He couldn't keep control of it, it flies out of play for a Chelsea throw down on the left hand side as they attack in this opening period. 13 minutes played, it's Chelsea 0, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the UEFA Champions League. It's Group E on the Flash Score live audio commentary service, where you can listen to a plethora of live Premier League commentaries at the weekend. We'll be bringing you all the action from Man City versus Fulham. We have Wolves against Brighton, Everton against Leicester in the late kickoff, and then on Sunday, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Man United, Southampton, Newcastle, West Ham Palace and Tottenham, Liverpool are your live offerings with us. And then we'll have La Liga action next week as well. Rayo Vallecano against Real Madrid. Osasuna, Barcelona and Real again back in action against Cadiz for the last weekend of action before the World Cup break. Chelsea then in possession out on the right hand side towards the halfway. Now camp their way back inside their own half is Trevor Chalobah out on the right hand flank out towards the captain Cesar Azpilicueta, who right on that right hand touch line just brings the ball beyond halfway before then having to play it back. This is Koulibaly. Jorginho in the midfield down the centre out towards Zakaria. Chalobah out to Cesar Azpilicueta. Mount, first time ball, looking to unleash Raheem Sterling, but he couldn't quite get his footing right, and it runs all the way to Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal, who plays it out quickly out to the right hand side and to Muharami. Chilwell making chase, but Zagreb keep possession before the pass forward is quickly snuffed out. Zakaria to Jorginho, breaking beyond the halfway. 15 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score live audio commentary service. Here's Havertz, edge of the penalty area, floats across it towards the back stick where Sterling's there, but it's a heavy touch which sees it go over the bar. There's a real teasing cross from the left-hand flank from Kai Havertz. He had Aubameyang out to his left, but swings it in, left-footed towards the back post, towards Raheem Sterling, who, from the edge of the 6-yard area, couldn't put it under control with the first touch, and it blazes its way over the bar of Dominik Livakovic's goal. And so 16 minutes played. Dinamo Zagreb still leading by a goal to nil. That 8th-minute goal by Bruno Petkovic, the difference between these two. And now Zagreb are on the counter-attack. Mason Mount dispossessed. Moving through the middle now. They got options out to the right. And they find Muharami, who's been ultra impressive. It was his cross from that flag which led to that opener. Cleared away though this time by Chelsea, but Zagreb reclaimed possession on the halfway, but not for much longer as Misic fouls Kai Havertz inside the Dinamo Zagreb half as Kepa Arrizabalaga watches on in the stands. He had very much the renaissance following an injury to Edouard Mendy, but he's back on the sidelines due to an injury of his own sustained in that 4-1 away defeat in the Premier League to Brighton and Hove Albion on Saturday. Aubameyang is in, a slip in defence again by Zagreb, and then the second time to allow Sterling in, and Sterling to score, and Chelsea are back on terms. It was a catalogue of errors from the Dinamo Zagreb defence, and Raheem Sterling takes full advantage, and Chelsea find themselves level. A non-plus reaction on the face of the Chelsea boss Graham Potter. Dinamo Zagreb know that they are the architects of their own downfall there. And it was architected by Koulibaly, who played it out to Chalobah. Jorginho with a first-time pass in towards Aubameyang. A slip from the defence. Aubameyang backhills it to Sterling, who was then allowed time and space. Up against two. Neither could get their footing right. It was Dino Peric who allowed Sterling the opportunity to turn, and then when he managed to get the ball on his left foot, managed to steer it home past Dominik Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. And so 18 minutes played. Raheem Sterling levels it up for Chelsea. Chelsea 1, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. And it is the Blues who are in again. Kai Havertz, right hand side, Mount, edge of the penalty area towards Aubameyang. Heavy first touch, which allows Livakovic to gather in the Dinamo Zagreb goal, who at the minute are living a bit of a charmed life. Chelsea are on the up. They got their tails up, and Zagreb have got the tails between their legs. Jorginho, Havertz, backheel first time in towards the path of Sterling, but it's allowed to run back to Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal, although the flag went up for offside in any case against Raheem Sterling. It's a first time ball forward by Dinamo Zagreb, which is comfortably held by Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal, who recycles it out first time to his left and to Ben Chilwell in the middle of his own half. Jorginho plays it out to Mount. Now moving into opposition territory of Azpilicueta. Ball over the top, looking to find him, and he's going to get there. Well, he thought he was going to get there. Just runs out of space in the end, goes out of play for Dinamo Zagreb. Goal kick now. Olivier Giroud, the ex-Chelsea man, has given AC Milan the lead against RB Salzburg at the San Siro. Dinamo Zagreb had to win and rely on a Milan result to qualify through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. Well, AC Milan are doing their end of the bargain at the minute. Dinamo Zagreb have been pegged back with Raheem Sterling's first Champions League goal of the season, although they have possession now with Orsic. Cross goes in from the right hand side, in towards the edge of the penalty, brought down first time, looking to find Petkovic. Hooked away by Chelsea. Havertz out on the right hand side, looking to move his way forward, but Raheem Sterling deemed to have fouled Dino Peric on the halfway, and so the Croatian champions will have a free kick just inside the Chelsea half. We played 21 minutes. Chelsea 1, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the UEFA Champions League on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. Even though it's a game where Chelsea know the scenario right from the off. Graham Potter will be looking for a reaction from his side following that heavy defeat in the Premier League at the weekend. It is his side who have the ball in the middle of the park, 21.25 minutes played. Mind you, some of the other scores from elsewhere. Juventus 1-0 down to PSG. Their horrible season in the Champions League continues as Chelsea have a free kick around about 35 yards out, and Francois Dexler from France will dish out the first yellow card of the evening to Joseph Misic, who clips the foot of Mason Mount, bringing him down and winning Chelsea a free kick midway inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. It's going to be taken by Jorginho, just off centre to the right, plays it short to Trevor Chalobah. Now Ashby Akweta, Jorginho, edge of the box. Havertz finds himself, going to backheel it to Sterling. Cross goes in, first time towards Mount. Chilwell was the man at the back post. He moves his way out to the left, manages to win Chelsea a throw-in from that flank on the edge of the penalty area. Heavy first touch from Havertz as he tried to control the throw from Chilwell, but the ball goes out of play for a Dinamo Zagreb goal kick. Halfway through the first half, Chelsea 1, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here on the Flash Score Live Audio Commentary Service. Aubameyang towards Mount on the left-hand side. He finds himself on the edge of the penalty area, but dispossessed and cleared away by Dinamo Zagreb. Petkovic deep inside his own half is dispossessed. It's won back by Koulibaly. Zakaria. Koulibaly again, now out to Chilwell on the left-hand side. Short again to Zakaria, who plays it across in towards the path for Trevor Chalobah. Out it goes to the right-hand flank and to Ashby Akweta. Havertz, edge of the penalty area, out wide. He's got Lubicic for company. Back it goes to Chalobah along the line to Koulibaly on the edge of the Dinamo Zagreb half. Midway through the first half, one apiece if you just joined us here at Stamford Bridge. Have Sterling, Jorginho, looking to release the pass on the right flank in towards Havertz, who was making a darting run into towards the penalty area. It's won back again by Zakaria, who's looked lively in his chance for Chelsea on loan from Juventus. Jorginho, crossfield ball from right to left in towards the penalty area where both Mount and Aubameyang found themselves, but it's held by Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal, who in turn recycles it quickly back in towards the path of Misic, who is the first player this evening to be booked for Dinamo Zagreb. Back it goes towards the keeper. Aubameyang was making chase, releases it out to his left-hand side. Dispossessed, one back by Mount in towards the path of Sterling. Ashby Akweta, right-hand side in towards Mason Mount. Cross goes in and it goes out of play, and it's going to be a Chelsea corner. Out on the right-hand side, Mason Mount doing the work. 24.5 minutes played. Chelsea 1, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score Live Audio Commentary Service. It's going to be Chilwell to take for Chelsea out on the right-hand flank as they attack in this opening period. Penalty area littered with bodies as the camera floats their eyes on Kai Havertz and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's going to be taken by Chilwell. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger towards the near post, in towards the path for Koulibaly, whose flick-on goes just above the bar. Koulibaly unmarked, allowed to flick on, and over the bar it goes. There for troubling Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. But the Croatian side are just allowing Chelsea to have spaces inside the penalty area. When I look at possession, 57% to 43% in Chelsea's favour in the first half up to press. And it is Cesar Azpilicueta out on the right hand side for Chelsea, along the line to Zakaria, who now entrenches in towards Dinamo Zagreb territory, plays it out to his right and towards the Chelsea captain, Cesar Azpilicueta, who 10 yards inside the Zagreb half, plays it along the line, and now is out towards the left-hand flank, and it's Chilwell in possession. Koulibaly. Back in towards Zakaria. Azpilicueta again, looking to find the first-time pass in towards the path of Sterling. Dispossessed by Dinamo Zagreb, who now look to move out on the left-hand side. Looking to find the pass along to Bruno Petkovic by Ljubitic. It says Azpilicueta reading the danger. The ball goes out of play for a Dinamo Zagreb throw. Played short in towards the path of Petkovic by Ljubitic. Plays the 1-2 back to him, and now it's Petkovic again. Zagreb happy to retreat back into their own half. This is Ivanusic. Chilwell wins the ball back from Jorginho, winning the ball back. Chilwell then gaining possession. Then Chilwell plays it back towards Jorginho, who's clipped and brought down by Ristovski. And the referee from France is just telling the Dinamo players just to cut it out a little bit. It's another foul. The foul count is racking up somewhat here on a wet, windy, blustery night in West London. And this is Cesar Azpilicueta to Sterling. Mount, first time over the top, looking to find Azpilicueta again. Sterling wins possession back after Dinamo Zagreb hook it clear, and Sterling deemed to have committed a foul. He's pleading his innocence against Denis Orsic, saying that if anything it should have gone the other way round. He feels the innocent party in all of that. 28 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. It's the UEFA Champions League. It's Group E between Chelsea and Dinamo Zagreb, and it is one apiece as Chelsea win a throw out on the right hand side midway inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. It's Sulato giving the ball away. Sterling winning it back right hand side in towards the path of Havertz inside the area towards Sterling, who had an opportunity on the best part of 6 yards out, but he couldn't keep his shot under it. Blade is over the bar, and it was Dinamo Zagreb giving the ball away cheaply. It was Sterling who started the opportunity, played it along the line towards Havertz. Sterling making a smart run in towards the penalty area. The ball goes across in towards his path, and he can't believe he couldn't get his footing under control. And as soon as the ball left his feet, there is a visible sigh and a gasp on his face. And that effort was going to go way off target. Shalabar for Chelsea on the halfway, coming up to the half-hour mark. One apiece here at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Dinamo Zagreb. Sterling in towards the path of Mount inside the air, right hand side, plays it across towards Havertz. It's going to fall back for Zakaria, who gets his precious goal, and you can see the smile on his face given his big chance in the Chelsea side. And he gets his goal for this Chelsea team. And following that early setback, they find themselves 2-1 up after half an hour. Sterling's onside on the right hand side. Quick first time ball in towards the path of Mason Mount. It's not fully cleared by the Dinamo Zagreb defence. And Zakaria inside the area, completely unmarked. First time, right footed, slots it home. Mahrami is trying to stop it on the line after the keeper couldn't get there. I'm wondering whether there was just a bit of a mix-up of communication between the two. But Denis Zakaria, the man on loan from Juventus, given the opportunity in the Chelsea side this evening, has taken full advantage. A smile on the face of Graham Potter, and Chelsea have turned this around to lead 2-1. And Chelsea win a free kick. It's the man who's got them in front who's won them that. He has been one of Chelsea's best players in the first half. He's got the goal that his performance thus far has duly warranted. And this is Chilwell out on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Back in the area it goes again, but this time it's held by Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. Let's have a look at what else is happening then in the Champions League. AC Milan leading Salzburg by a goal to nil. Dortmund 1-up in Copenhagen. PSG leading Juventus away from home. 1 apiece between Maccabi, Haifa and Benfica. And Sevilla have taken the lead at the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City. You can listen to that game as well here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. There's also 6 live championship games which have reached half-time, and with Dinamo Zagreb in possession, let's just update you on them. Still playing at the end of the first half between Birmingham and Millwall, 0-0 there. 1 apiece in added time between Burnley and Rotherham. 1 apiece also at the Cardiff City Stadium between Cardiff and Watford. 0-0 between Huddersfield and Sunderland. 0-0 at the break at Carrow Road between Norwich City and Queen's Park Rangers, and also goalless at the break between Wigan Athletic and Stoke City. Chelsea in possession on the right-hand side, in towards the path of Havertz. This is Sterling now, right-hand side, back in towards the path of Mount, Jorginho. Out towards the captain, Ashby Akwet. Jorginho now for Chelsea, forward in towards the path of Sterling, dispossessed, one back by Lubicic. Out of play it goes for Dinamo Zagreb throw. 33.5 minutes played at Stamford Bridge, and it really has been a really good game. Sometimes these types of fixtures at the end of a Champions League group campaign can be a little bit of a damp squid. Chelsea knowing that they are through regardless, Dinamo Zagreb knowing that they need things to go for them, to go through, and sometimes be tame, cagey, 0-0 affairs, but it is most certainly not the case here at Stamford Bridge this evening. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1, and it is the Croatian champions in possession out on the right-hand side with Muharami. Ristovski towards Misic. So on the right-hand side, now moving inside their own half. Back into Chelsea territory they go with Ivanusic. Cross goes in again by Lubicic. One back by Mount, but dispossessed. Back by Dinamo Zagreb in the middle of the Chelsea half. Pass played out first time, but everyone too eager to leave it to someone, that no one grabbed it until Orsic could find it in the corner. Lubicic turning past his man, turning past Mount, looking to play it across in towards the path of Petkovic, but it is cleared away by the Chelsea back line towards Sterling. Good challenge by Ivanusic, but he couldn't quite win it back, and in fact the referee has pulled play up for foul, and Mason Mount having a few words with the referee, who was speaking on his social media earlier on today about getting the job done and getting the job done right in the Champions League pool stages. They will win the group no matter what. When the competition returns in February, they will be amongst the top seeds. Of course, usually these rounds of fixtures will be played at the beginning of December, but because of the World Cup in Qatar and the break being this weekend, the fixtures for this year's group stage have been shoehorned into a shorter, more congested period. Jorginho for Chelsea. Plays out to Koulibaly on the halfway side, out to Chilwell on the left. 10 yards inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. This is Havertz out along the line to Mason Mount. Sterling, right hand side, got Lubicic for company on the edge of the penalty area, and Lubicic going down and winning his side at free kick is Raheem Sterling. We're going to go away. And these two had a bit of a tangle and a battle this evening. It was a tug on the shirt from Raheem Sterling, the reason why the free kick was given. 8.5 minutes of this first half left to play. 2-1 to Chelsea, and the only 2 shots on target have been goals. In fact, every single shot on target has resulted in the ball finding the back of the net this evening here at Stamford Bridge. Dinamo Zagreb with 1 shot altogether this evening, that being on target, and that being the goal by Petkovic after 8 minutes. Koulibaly, Jorginho, Zakaria, back to Jorginho. Zakaria again plays it out towards the path for Trevor Chalobah. This is Cesar Azpilicueta, now Sterling on the right hand side, just inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. This is Sterling in towards the path for Havertz, who's looking to float one over the top, back into Sterling's path, but Dinamo Zagreb win back possession and looking to counter, but it's a heavy pass in towards Ivanusic, and so Chelsea managed to clear their lines. Aubameyang, who's been kept quiet so far out on this left-hand side for Chelsea. Oh, brilliant touch from Havertz as the ball was fed into him towards Chilwell, who looks to play it back over the top in towards his path, but Dinamo Zagreb win back possession and win a free kick as Ben Chilwell hauls Mahremi to the surface. 38 minutes played here, and it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Koulibaly plays it back to Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal, who in turn plays it forward first time, brought down by Joseph Sutalo. Koulibaly with a foul on the halfway, and he's going to become the first Chelsea player in the book following a challenge on the half on Petkovic. Stopping him in his tracks as the ball was fed through to him, came sliding in, hauling Petkovic to the deck, and Dinamo Zagreb with a free kick just beyond the halfway out on the right hand side as they attack in the opening period. So Koulibaly, the first Chelsea player in the book in this first half, and just over 5 minutes to go until the break. Lubicic. Dinamo Zagreb with the ball inside their own half. Misic. Crossfield ball from right to left in towards the path for Lubicic. One back by Mason Mount for Chelsea, who then goes in second time on Lubicic, and Dinamo Zagreb win a free kick this time out on the left-hand side as we look at pictures of Armando Broja warming up. I'm just wondering whether Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has just picked up a knock of some description. This is Petkovic for Dinamo Zagreb out on this right-hand side as they attack in the middle of the Chelsea half. 5 minutes to go until half-time here in the UEFA Champions League. You're listening to the Flash Score live audio commentary service, where Chelsea lead Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1. Reminder, you can listen to every single game in the Premier League on Sunday with us, including that headline game at Stamford Bridge here between Chelsea and Arsenal. We also have Tottenham up against Liverpool for you from 4:30. And don't forget that the World Cup is on the horizon, and we'll be bringing you every single live match from there. So please do join us on the Flash Score live audio commentary service for that. This is Mount on the halfway out on the right-hand flank with Misic for company. Played short in towards the path of Raheem Sterling. Ashby accredited towards Sterling. First time ball out on his right foot out towards Mason Mount, who's looking to bring it down under the control of his black, almost Adidas copper type boots. Trying to go back with the quiff approach, Mason Mount. We've seen 110 different types of haircuts from him, but whichever way his hairstyles decided to go, it's a very damp one. It's a very wet evening here in West London as Edouard Mendy, who comes in for the injured Kepa Arrizabalaga, has the ball and plays it across towards Ben Chilwell out on the left-hand side. Looking to move forward across the Chelsea half, and it has to go back towards the keeper for the Blues. And it goes to his right in towards the path of Cesar Azpilicueta. I think Graham Potter, the Chelsea boss, will be happy with the appraisal of his side in the opening period. And in fairness, the goal did kind of come against the run of play, the opener for Dinamo Zagreb, and other than that, it's been a real controlled and real measured performance from his team. This is Misic just beyond the halfway for Dinamo Zagreb, plays it out towards his left, and now opportunity now, Ademi out towards Mahrimi on the right hand side. Cross goes in but cleared away by Koulibaly inside the box. Barry looking to win it back, but it is Ristovski who gets it first. And it goes to Mahrami. Short it towards the path of Ristovski. Cross goes in towards the back stick, looking to find Petkovic, and Azpilicueta knocks it out of play for Dinamo Zagreb corner out on the left hand side. 2 minutes to go until the break. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1 here in the UEFA Champions League on the Flash Score live audio commentary service. But work to do for Graham Potter's side here, defending a set piece from this left hand flank. Big man Petkovic is ready and raring. He scored from a header in the 8th minute, but this corner swung in right footed, goes straight towards the palms of Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal, who recycles it quickly towards Chilwell, who's put a real sprint on this left hand side. He's now in the middle of the Dinamo Zagreb half before then having to stop and assess his options. Plays it along to Sterling, who in turn finds Zakaria, switched out to the right hand side and to Kai Havertz. Mount moving in more centrally towards Aubameyang on the edge of the penalty area, hacked clear by Dinamo Zagreb, but Chelsea moving from one end to the other very, very quickly indeed. A minute to go until half time. The first half, which has flown by at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Just a quick check of the rest of the scores on the Flash Score live audio commentary service from the UEFA Champions League. Mine were the 2 early kickers. Real Madrid got the better of Celtic by 5-1. RB Leipzig getting the better of Shakhtar by 4-0 as Chilwell bears in the middle. It's cleared away by Dinamo Zagreb. Currently in play, AC Milan leading Salzburg by 1-0. It's SC Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 1, Juventus 1, PSG 1. It's also 1 apiece between Maccabi, Haifa and Benfica, and it's Manchester City 0, Sevilla 1. A bit of an upset result at the Etihad. However, Manchester City are playing a much changed side for their final Champions League group fixture ahead of a big couple of weeks for them before the World Cup break. Fulham is their opponents on Saturday. That's the game I'll be doing with you on the Flash Score live audio commentary service from 3 p.m. So if you are around, do lend an ear. 1 minute added on though here at Stamford Bridge at the end of the first half. Havertz with the ball out on the right hand side, but oozes out. Ball goes out of play. It's going to be a throw into Dinamo Zagreb to be taken by Ljubicic. Taken short, but dispossessed. Cesar Azpilicueta to Zakaria. Moving in towards the middle, but a heavy touch sees and dispossessed. This is Misic now for Zagreb. In towards the path of Mahrami, who's in towards the middle from the right-hand side. Get the better of Sterling, looking to play the pass out in towards Ristovski, who Loses out to Koulibaly, but can only Havertz towards Jorginho. Zakaria, who his first Chelsea goal in the first half. Aubameyang. And now in towards the path of Ben Chilwell. On the left-hand side is Chelsea attack on the edge of the penalty area. Dinamo Zagreb retain possession with Petkovic. And now drive out from the right-hand side in towards Petkovic. He's got Orsic alongside him, but it's well dealt with by Trevor Chalobah for Chelsea. Now this is Chilwell. Jorginho deep inside the Chelsea half. 2 minutes of this second half play. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Ball floating over the top in towards the path of Aubameyang on the left-hand side. Cross goes in towards Sterling, who looked to have a go at the volley if it went his way, but it was headed away by Peric for Dinamo Zagreb. And now in the path of Ademi, the skipper for the Croatian side, but the ball goes out for a Chelsea throw, which is finding its way back towards Ben Chilwell. 2.5 minutes of the second half gone, and just a reminder of what else is happening in the Champions League and what has happened in the Champions League this year. We did have 2 early kickoffs in the group stage tonight. Real Madrid getting the better of Celtic by 5-1. RB Leipzig beating Shakhtar by 4-0. It's AC Milan 2, Salzburg 0. 1-1 at the break between Copenhagen and Dortmund. Juventus 1, PSG 1, Maccabi Haifa 1, Benfica 1, and Manchester City trailing at the break by 2-1 to Sevilla. Mount out towards the path of Chilwell on the left-hand side, dispossessed by Mahrami. Out on the right-hand side, deep inside his own half. He's got Mason Mount for company. Mahrami manages to play the ball forward on towards the halfway now into Chelsea territory. It goes with the skipper Peric along the line towards Ivanusic. He brings it inside, decides to have a go at goal, takes a deflection by Chalobah, and Orsic will watch it go out of play for a corner to Dinamo Zagreb in front of their fans to the left-hand corner of us this evening. Orsic to take it from the left-hand side as they attack in the second period. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger. It has been primarily towards the penalty spot from Dinamo Zagreb this evening. It's towards the back post now. It's flicked on and parried away by Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal. It was a sucker punch in the first half that gave Dinamo Zagreb the lead. And this time, Mendy comes up trumps in the second. It was Sutalo with the header. Parried away by the Chelsea keeper, who would have had some questions asked of him about the way the first goal was conceded. But no questions there. Crucial stop from the Chelsea keeper. And Sutalo walks away a bit more worse than wear following that header, having been hauled to the surface. Misic, cross goes in, but it flies its way all the way out, hitting the corner flag on the other side en route out of play for a Chelsea goal kick. 5 minutes of this second half have gone. It's Group E of the Champions League, and it is Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 as Ante Kasic watches on rather ruefully. And not just the Champions League we're focusing on this evening on the Flash Score live video commentary service. 6 live games on the Championship, which are all midway through the second half. It's Birmingham 0, Millwall 0, Burnley 1, Rotherham 1, Cardiff 1, Watford 2, Huddersfield 0, Sunderland 1, Norwich 0, QPR 0, and Wigan 0, Stoke City 1 in the Championship this evening. Reminder, we have Premier League action on Saturday as Chelsea have possession with Kai Havertz beyond the halfway. He's got 2 up against him, and it was the pressure from Ademi and Misic which pays dividends in the end from a Dinamo Zagreb perspective. They have the ball on the edge of their own penalty area in towards the path now of Lubicic, dispossessed by Cesar Azpilicueta before being brought down by Lubicic, and it's going to be Chelsea free kick out on the right hand side around about 30 yards from goal. Good opportunity to swing one into the air, taken quickly. Havertz to Sterling on the right hand side, plays across in but cleared out of play by Peric. It had to be cleared out of way by the Dinamo Zagreb left back. It goes out of play. Forward corner for Chelsea is going to be Ben Chilwell to take out on the right-hand flank. All the big bodies enter the penalty area. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger towards the back post. 51.5 minutes played. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. It comes into the near post, flicked on by Shakhtar, cleared away though by Dinamo Zagreb, who look to get the break on. And it's Zakaria who wins the ball back for Chelsea, plays it out to his left, in towards the path of Aubameyang, who bears towards the penalty area, brings it inside, curling effort, which hits the crossbar. He's been kept quiet for the most part so far, but he nearly added a third for Chelsea. He managed to bring the ball inside on his right foot, managed to fashion out an opportunity on goal. A right-footed curling effort right on the line of the penalty area, and it hits the crossbar, and now he finds Havertz. Chelsea could be in for 3, but it is brilliant last-ditch defending from Josip Misic to stop him in his path as he tried to get the shot away. It goes out of play for a Chelsea corner. His effort just coming off the left calf of the Dinamo Zagreb central midfielder. And so Chelsea have another corner, this time on the left flank. 53 played, Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here at Stamford Bridge. It is the home side whose tails are on the up. It's going to be swung in, right-footed to the near post by Raheem Sterling. It's cleared away by Dinamo Zagreb. And out it goes for yet another Chelsea throw. Graham Potter in the Chelsea dugout, watching on, moving up and down the touchline. Doesn't really need to say much to his players. They've been in control for the most part. It would have been a team talk you suggest of probably more of the same lads in the second period after what he saw in the first half. Career brought down on the halfway, hauled down on the halfway, and it's going to be a yellow card for Ivanusic. He basically just grabbed two hands of Samoa. It was like a rugby tackle. That by Luka Ivanusic. So Chelsea with a free kick just beyond the halfway, out on the left-hand side, just off centre. It's going to be Koulibaly to take. Jorginho is the option short, who's having a word with the referee about the fact that Orsic isn't 10 yards behind the ball. Chalobah on the half for Chelsea, moving forward now in the centre. Looking to play out Havertz to his right, but it now comes out to the left, and Aubameyang on the edge of the penalty area finds the overlapping one of Chilwell, who manages to get the better of his man. Played across in towards the path of Sterling, and a second effort is thrown in by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but it flies its way over the top of Dominik Livakovic's goal. Brilliant play by Ben Chilwell to dummy his way past Mahrami, and then the cross fired through and then cleared away only as far as Aubameyang, whose follow-up effort goes halfway up the shed end. Dinamo Zagreb in possession just beyond the half. Is Petkovic now in the middle, played out to his right and into the path of Ivanusic. Edge of the penalty, Dinamo Zagreb find themselves in. A right-footed in-swung cross goes in but cleared away by Chelsea. It's one back by Peric. 2 minutes this second half gone. Chelsea leading by 2-1. If you have just joined us here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service, it was Dinamo Zagreb who took the lead after 8 minutes. It was goal by Bruno Petkovic, and they could find a second. Ljubicic on the line. Effort on goal by Orsic, but it flies its way past the goal of Edouard Mendy. Tried to place it with his first touch into the bottom right-hand corner. Edouard Mendy outstretched. It goes just wide. It's something for the sea of fans that have travelled from the Croatian capital to shout about. They've made quite the noise, quite the atmosphere this evening, enjoying every last second of their Champions League experience in this campaign. The way their league is going at the minute, they may well be back next year. They're 4 points clear of Hajduk Split at the top of the Croatian top division. And it is Mason Mount in possession for Chelsea. Towards Sterling. Out to Mount. This is out on the left-hand side. Chilwell, out of the penalty here, back to Sterling, who looks to try and play across on his right foot, but decides to go short to Aubameyang. Now Ashby Akreta, central, into the path of Jorginho, plays it out to Ashby Akreta on his right, edge of the penalty area. Cross goes in, flicked on, in towards the path of Kai Havertz, but he just couldn't quite get enough venom on that header. And Livakovic can dive down to his right, having taken a bounce en route to comfortably collect in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. And back it goes to the Dinamo Zagreb keeper, who clears it forward first time. Ljubicic out in towards the path of Orsic. Now Misic played out to Mahrami, edge of the penalty, right hand side, in the area it goes, but cleared away by Koulibaly for Chelsea. But it is Dinamo Zagreb who win it back, although it's a bit of a foot race between Totalo and Kai Havertz, who had a nibble at each other. Havertz comes worse off, having had a collision with the advertising hoardings on the far side. And so this is Misic now for Dinamo Zagreb. 58 minutes played. It's Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score live audio commentary service. Reminder, we have live commentary of Chelsea versus Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur versus Liverpool on Sunday. All live for us, as well as the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. All the action gets underway on November the 20th. Every game live on the Flash Score live audio commentary service as Dinamo Zagreb win a free kick out on the left-hand side, right on the edge of their half. My apologies, actually went out for a throw, but the rest of the one way. Ljubicic, though, either way, in possession for Dinamo Zagreb. Oh, nice little turn by Ivanusic. Ljubicic for now, edge of the penalty area is Ljubicic again. He may think about going for goal. He does go for goal. It takes a deflection off of Koulibaly. Dinamo Zagreb win it back deep inside the Chelsea half. Petkovic have to play it back and out to the right to the Croatian visitors as we approach the hour mark. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score live audio commentary service. Orsic out on the left hand side, driving forward, edge of the penalty. He's got Petkovic out to his left, but the pass over to him was too heavy and it runs out of play for a Chelsea goal kick. And it was Orsic who sent Cesar Azpilicueta on his bike, and he just came charging forward towards goal. There perhaps would have been a debate of offside against Petkovic if Orsic's pass was accurate enough to find him, or light enough to find him, as we reach the hour mark here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the UEFA Champions League. This is Group E. Reminder of the scenario in the group. Chelsea will finish top of Group E regardless of what happens in this match this evening. Dinamo Zagreb need to win and hope AC Milan win, which they currently are doing, to try and secure a Europa League spot come the turn of the year. Aubameyang out to Chilwell, left hand side, inside the area to go at goal, but it finds the side netting and out of play it goes for a Dinamo Zagreb goal kick. And Conor Gallagher is getting primed and ready to come on for Chelsea. Jorginho loses out, but one back by Sterling. Jorginho now to Havertz. First time ball back to Mason Mount, dispossessed. This is Misic now. Ljubicic. And Ivanusic manages to find the out ball, and Dinamo Zagreb move now towards the halfway. Flicks out towards the left-hand side First time into the path of Sutalo. This is now Orsic, edge of the penalty area. Ljubičić, left-hand side. Orsic more centrally, looking to find that ball on the edge of the box, but dispossessed, and Chelsea now look to move first time. Aubameyang, left-hand side, beyond the halfway. Sterling in the middle, out in the centre of the Dinamo Zagreb half. Plays a first-time ball out towards his left, in towards the path of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But it is snuffed out by the Dinamo Zagreb defence. But Sterling has the ball again towards Chilwell. Ball comes in, floated across the penalty area, in towards the path of Aubameyang, who only needed to get a touch for a tap-in. It was a fantastic ball from Ben Chilwell. It was a good first pass from Sterling to release him. Aubameyang, who looked level, was looking to be the recipient. Ball across the deck, just ran too much for him. And Chelsea coming close to a third. Jorginho, first time towards Mount, in acres of space, inside the area, it's Mason Mount! But it takes a deflection from Sutalo en route, who manages to put his body on the line for Dinamo Zagreb. And again, brilliant fluid Chelsea play. The space is opened up again at the back, and it allowed Mason Mount to root through on goal, getting the better Ljubičić, but he couldn't get past Sutalo. And it's going to be a Chelsea corner out on the right-hand side as they attack in the second period. It's going to be Ben Chilwell to take. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger towards the back post. So Chilwell with the corner, 63 play, Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1, corner floated in. Last touch coming off the head of Trevor Chalobah, whose header flicks wide of goal. Chelsea to make 3 changes. On comes Thiago Silva, Armando Broja and Conor Gallagher. Coming off, we're going to see Kai Havertz, who's been very lively, one of the live wires for Chelsea in the game. And so Havertz is going to be withdrawn in the place of Conor Gallagher. And we wait to see as of who the other 2 players coming off might be. All we know is Conor Gallagher's coming on. And here's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who's going to be withdrawn. And it's going to be Armando Broja to come on in his place. 64 minutes played, incidentally, if you have just joined us. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1, and it's going to be Kalidou Koulibaly coming off in the place of Thiago Silva, perhaps the most predictable of all substitutions for Chelsea. So Livakovic with the ball in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. 64.5 minutes played. Chelsea leading by 2 goals to 1. Ball given away. Sterling with a heavy touch. To be fair, he was outstretched trying to find it. Cleared away by Ljubičić. And it is going to be a free kick to Dinamo Zagreb. Ashby Akweta with the foul, and somewhat there, Dinamo Zagreb have got away with a bit of a sloppy situation. And they play it out to the right-hand side, deep inside their own half. Long ball forward. Thiago Silva with his first touch of the ball this evening. 25 minutes to go. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in Group E of the UEFA Champions League on the Flash Score live audio commentary service. The ball goes back to Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal, outside his penalty area, short to Thiago Silva. Wide of the games elsewhere. AC Milan now 3-0 up on Salzburg. 1-1 between Copenhagen and Dortmund. 1 apiece also between Juve and PSG. Benfica lead Maccabi Haifa by 2 goals to 1. And Manchester City have levelled things up at the Etihad against Sevilla as Ljubičić wins a free kick for Dinamo Zagreb following a foul by Conor Gallagher, and the pair exchanging some words and displeasantries afterwards. Well, it is Ljubičić in possession for Dinamo Zagreb. Played short first time in towards the path of Petkovic. There's Chalobah back to Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal. Coming towards the end of the action as well in the Championship. Birmingham 0, Millwall 0, Burnley 1, Rotherham 2, Cardiff 1, Watford 2, Huddersfield 0, Sunderland 1, 0-0 at Carrow Road between Norwich and Queen's Park Rangers, and Stoke leading away at Wigan Athletic by 1-0. Chelsea in possession just beyond the halfway out on the left-hand side. Roger looking to get his first touch of the ball of the evening. Ball goes back to Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. It's cleared by Chalobah as the ball went forward. Out of play it goes for a Dinamo Zagreb throw as the Croatian side look to make a change of their own. Looks like Mahir Emreli is going to come on. Dinamo Zagreb in possession out on the right-hand side, moving forward in the path of Petkovic. Played out to Mahrimi. Ball goes into the penalty. It was a teasing one, but nobody really in the box, and Chelsea allowed to move it away. Let's have a look at the pass accuracy stats. Chelsea 90% compared to Dinamo Zagreb's 82% in that particular category. 67.5 minutes played. The most important category is, of course, goals scored, and Chelsea lead that by 2-1, and that's the only stat realistically that matters. Ljubicic played along the back line. This game just fizzling out a little bit here. It was an action all ends first hour or so, but the substitutions, which, as we've seen now with the 5 subs all in a game like this, can really peter it out. Hopefully we'll return to the action in a minute as Armando Broja gives away a free kick for Chelsea out on the right hand side of Dinamo Zagreb attack, just on the edge of halfway as Denis Zakaria goes down. He's put in a real shift for Chelsea today. Got the goal, his performance is warranted, and Dinamo Zagreb will make the change. Coming off is going to be the number 13, Stefan Ristovski, and he's going to be replaced by Mahir Emreli for the final 20 minutes or so here at Stamford Bridge. Graham Potter may well also be readying up some changes in a second or two. There's a couple of shirts being thrown around by the kit staff at Chelsea, so quite conceivable we might be seeing another couple of changes, because Zakaria does not look too comfortable at all, and the medical staff are looking as if they might point towards a substitution. And well, the fact that Ben Chilwell gives Zakaria a handshake and a hug probably tells you everything you need to know. So we have a look, a replay of his goal as Mount played the ball back in towards his path. Right-footed effort, side-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. A bit of a mix-up between defender and goalkeeper, but Denis Zakaria comes off to a huge round of applause from the Chelsea fans out on the far side, and he's going to be replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who scored an own goal in that 4-1 defeat at the Amex to Brighton and Hove Albion on Saturday. Chelsea in possession, Chilwell winning it back on this left-hand side, deep inside his own half. 20 minutes to go. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. Along the line in towards the path of Trevor Chalobah is now Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea. Chalobah again, Azpilicueta, right-hand side. They're going to move it forward. Gallagher was also screaming for it, but plays it back in towards the path of Chalobah. Jorginho along the line towards Thiago Silva. 71 played, Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Chilwell, left-hand side. Silva push across to the right flank into Azpilicueta. Chelsea now just happy to keep possession and just quietly build things up. Gallagher brought to ground on the right hand side in the middle of the Dinamo Zagreb hard by Ivanusic. And it's going to be Ashby Akweta to take along the line to Armando Broja on the right. This is Gallagher now looking to move in more centrally. Had two against and had to play it back. It was Jorginho to Broja, who manages to find Ashby Akweta on the right. It's a good underlapping pass in towards the path of Broja. Plays it across goal towards the back stick where Sterling was lurking at the back post. But the supply line cut off by Sutalo again, who has been very alert for Dinamo Zagreb at the back. There's another corner they're going to have to face. There's another corner for Ben Chilwell to take on this right-hand side, and another left-footed in-swinger. 72 played, Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Swung in towards the near post. It's flicked on and flicked over by Thiago Silva, who was dropped from the starting 11 tonight, from the one which started at the Amex at the weekend in that 4-1 defeat. He was at fault for the first goal, for two subsequent own goals. Saw them 3-0 down at half-time. The only defeat of the Graham Potter Chelsea era so far. And it doesn't look as if it's going to be back-to-back here this evening, not unless Dinamo Zagreb can find something in the final 18 minutes or so here at Stamford Bridge. They trail by 2-1. And Chelsea in possession. This is Gallagher, left-hand side this time, to Sterling. Gallagher loses out. Misic, though, couldn't keep hold of possession. Chilwell, ball rolls out of play, and it's going to be a Chelsea throw out on the far side as we look at it. It's the left-hand side as Chelsea attack in the second half. Gallagher moving in more centrally, but clipped to the surface on the edge of the penalty area, and Chelsea win a free kick in an opportune position. It came straight from the throw from Chilwell. Gallagher making the run forward, then clipped from behind by Petkovic, the Dinamo Zagreb goal scorer. And so it's going to be a free kick to Chelsea out on the left-hand side. It's Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell over it. If Mount takes it, it's going to be swung in wide-footed. If Chilwell's going to take it, he's going to whip it in on his left. 16 minutes to go as the rain comes tumbling down here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. It's Mount who goes straight for goal, and it wasn't too far away. It forced the save of Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. Curled in on his right foot to perfection. It looked as if it was just dipping over the bar, but Livakovic wasn't to know. He played the safe option, and as the rain hammers down, Chelsea have a corner out on the left-hand side as the referee just has a little chat with Misic and Ademi over some pushing and shoving. Corner taken by Sterling. It works its way towards the near post, but cleared away only as far as Loftus-Cheek, still inside the area. Appeals for a penalty by the Chelsea fans, waved away emphatically by the referee, but it's won back by Sterling. Gallagher. Out it goes in towards the other Mount. Chilwell looking to play in Broja, but cleared away by Dinamo Zagreb. This is Loftus-Cheek, but a foul by Thiago Silva. Here's Dinamo Zagreb, a little bit of breathing space, and now having a look at the penalty incident as Ruben Loftus-Cheek went to the ground. The referee was in a good position, but nothing of it there. Really not, well, there wasn't any contact whatsoever, the truth be told. So 14 minutes to go. Play goes on. Chelsea 2. Dinamo Zagreb 1. where Benfica really have turned the screw against Maccabi Haifa. They now lead 4-1. Manchester City have turned things around against Sevilla. They now lead by 2-1, courtesy of goals by Alvarez and Lewis. 15 minutes to go there. 13 minutes to go here at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea lead by 2-1 against Dinamo Zagreb. The other game in this group, AC Milan lead RB Salzburg by 3-0, but it's Chelsea on the attack. Chilwell plays it out to the left, and Sterling brings it inside. Then looks to try and tee up Gallagher in the penalty area. Cleared away though by Dinamo Zagreb. Over the top first time by Lubicic, but one back by Armando Broja. This is Loftus-Cheek driving down the middle. Out to Conor Gallagher. 77.5 minutes played. 2-1 to Chelsea. Ashby Equeta. Sterling. Ashby Equeta. Can he find one across goal? Looking to fire it in on his right foot, but again it's another timely interception by Peric, who has been absolutely magnificent at the back for Dinamo Zagreb. It was Ashby Equeta with the ball in across the penalty area from the right hand side, but it goes out of play. There's another Chelsea corner on the right. To take 12 minutes to go. Right hand side, left footed in swinger. Ashby Equeta and Mount drop back as the corner goes in towards the back post and cleared away before finding Conor Gallagher there. One back though by Chelsea. Jorginho to Sterling, out in the middle. Now Chilwell on the right hand side this time. Sterling, right flank, 30 yards from goal. Broja back to Sterling. Now into the path of Chalobah. 11.5 minutes to go. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1. Chalobah back to Ashby Equeta. Gallagher, Chalobah, Ashby Equeta, Sterling. Although losing out to Ademi, but quickly one back. And as quickly as one back by Chelsea is as quickly as the referee blows up for a free kick. We're having a look at the stats on the game. Ball possession 56% Chelsea to 44% for Dinamo Zagreb. Chelsea have had 16 attempts on goal, 4 of them on target. Dinamo Zagreb with 5, 2 on target. 3 yellow cards. Misic and Ivanusic for Dinamo Zagreb. Koulibaly for Chelsea with 10 minutes to go here. And it is the hosts who lead here by 2-1. And have a look at a replay of the corner from Chilwell, which comes to the head of Chalobah. Gallagher was lurking at the back post to try and find something, but not to be. 10 to go. Chelsea 2. Dinamo Zagreb 1. They're still pushing Chelsea. They now drive forward thanks to the energetic legs of Ben Chilwell out on the left hand side. Out to Gallagher, now Loftus-Cheek in the middle. May think about going for goal. The angle did open up, but two defenders quickly closed it down. Ashby Equeta in towards the path of Jorginho. Out to Gallagher, edge of the penalty area. Left hand side, goes for goal, takes the deflection en route, and out of play it goes. Didn't quite strike that effort with the sort of vigour or venom that he would have liked. Brings it inside, has a go right footed, takes the deflection en route. And it's going to be another corner out on this right hand side. Chilwell to take. He's been a very busy boy this evening for Chelsea. Nine minutes to go, leading by 2-1. Chilwell to take towards the near post this time, flicked away. Nodded on by Jorginho to Sterling on the right hand side. 30 yards from goal, he's got Chilwell out on the right. Chilwell to Sterling, whips the ball in first time. Right foot to the back stick, but it just eludes Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Thiago Silva also going for the header. It was a delicious first-time cross from Raheem Sterling. Silva is level onside. Loftus-Cheek also bearing a run on goal. But it comes off the head of Josip Chitalo. And then a player goes for another Chelsea corner. Sterling to take on the left flank, right-footed. Swinging to the near post. We're going to find Brozier, cleared away by Ademi. And it's going to be a Chelsea throw. Sterling's going to take level to the penalty area. 8 to go. Christian Pulisic to come on for Chelsea, and he's going to replace Raheem Sterling. So that was his final contribution to the evening's efforts. Raheem Sterling, who got Chelsea back onto level terms. Both the goal scorers are now off the pitch to be replaced by Christian Pulisic. Changes afoot then for Dinamo Zagreb. Bruno Petkovic, the goal scorer for them, gave them the lead early on to be replaced by Josip Drmic. And then the other change for the Croatian champions with 7 minutes to go is going to see Arjan Ademi replaced by Marko Bulat. Brozier out on the left-hand side, dispossessed by Misic. 7 minutes to go. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1, but Ljubic now darting down this left-hand flank, deep inside the Chelsea half now. Orsic has got Ashby credit for company, edge of the box. Ljubic inside the area, up against 2. Orsic, who has scored a hat-trick in European competition against an English side. He scored a hat-trick to send Tottenham out of the Europa League 2 seasons ago. We're throwing for Dinamo Zagreb to be taken by Robert Ljubic. Back it goes into the path of Ivanusic. And now Gallagher wins it back for Chelsea. 6 minutes to go plus stoppage time. 2-1 Chelsea lead. Ball goes out in towards the path of Brozier, who's got time and he's got space inside the area. He has now been closed down by Sutalo. Brozier now not going to get the cross in from that right flank. Pulisic inside the area. Gallagher, can he work it across goal? Can he work it towards goal? It flashes across the face of it. Chilwell comes in second time, but headed away by the Dinamo Zagreb defence. Chalobah. Loftus-Cheek out to Gallagher, who looks to whip across in. This played short though, first time to Chilwell. Loftus-Cheek, 5 to go. 2-1 Chelsea lead. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It was Chalobah, but Chilwell is fouled and the referee didn't see much advantage. Pulisic having a couple of words. Chelsea win a free kick with 5 to go. Really good first hour to this one. Just petered out over the last 25 minutes or so as the substitutions came into play. Man City now extending their lead over Sevilla to 3-1. 4.5 to go here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1. Free kick then to be taken and swung in by Chilwell towards Silva. Big opportunity missed, and that would have finished the game off. All he had to do was control it with his right foot, and he's tried to do too much. It swung in and he just couldn't control his footing. And that was the golden opportunity to seal the 3 points for Chelsea. Loftus-Cheek, Chilwell brings it inside. There wasn't an angle to shoot. Gallagher He also brings it inside in the centre. Out to Azpilicueta on the right. Going to find Broja on the flank, but cleared away by Ljubičić. One back by Thiago Silva. And now Broja, right hand side, midway inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. Out in towards the path of Conor Gallagher, but the ball runs out of play for Dinamo Zagreb throw, and it looks as if there's a little bit of a injury concern for Cesar Azpilicueta, the Chelsea skipper, who is clutching his right quad. And it looks like his evening's going to be over. It doesn't look nice at all for the Chelsea captain. He's having a chat with Jorginho. He's willing to carry on, he's willing to continue, the European Cup winning skipper for the Blues. Gallagher, right hand side, brought down by Misic on the right flank, midway inside the Dinamo Zagreb half. 2.5 minutes to go. Chelsea lead by 2-1 here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. Chelsea set to finish top no matter what happened this evening, but they're going to finish off their group campaign, it seems, with a win. They could rubber stamp it here. Ball goes into the penalty area by Chilwell, in towards the path of Conor Gallagher, but it goes out of play as a sizable police presence make their way towards the Dinamo Zagreb end. It looks as if there's just been a little bit of trouble there, which is a disturbing kind of scene that nobody wants to see. The Croatian champions looking to move the ball forward now on the right hand side, looking to find a late equaliser, looking to thread it in towards the path of Orsic, but cleared away by Loftus-Cheek. And now Christian Pulisic herring away for Chelsea, brought to ground around 25 yards from goal, and it's going to signal another yellow card. This time it's for Mahrami, just clipping him from behind as he was bearing down on goal. Moving in more centrally was Christian Pulisic, around about 25 yards out, and he would have had an angle to shoot as well. Mahrami, who was really impressive in the first half, and Dinamo Zagreb to make another change. Mislav Orsic coming off, and Dario Spicic to come on for the final minute of normal time, and then whatever added time is going to be allotted by the fourth official. Free kick for Chelsea then, around 30 yards from goal. It's Mason Mount over it, as well as Ben Chilwell. Mason Mount, it looks as if fancies the direct strike from goal. It's just off centre towards the left hand side. And there's free in the Zagreb wall. Mount to take, he has a go, and it isn't too far away, just goes wide of the target, and he lets out a yelp of frustration knowing that it hasn't found the target. Wasn't too far away, just past the left hand post. As we enter the final 10 seconds of normal time, Chelsea leading Dinamo Zagreb by 2-1. We now enter stoppage time, where there's going to be 4 minutes added on. And it's Chelsea in possession out on the left hand side. Chilwell, Loftus-Cheek towards the path of Cesar Azpilicueta. We're going to find Broja, loses out to Ljubičić. Zagreb still looking to find an equaliser. Okay, it wouldn't mean anything for them in terms of where they're going to finish in Group E. His message was brought down by Gallagher, but the referee waves play on as Dinamo Zagreb in possession on the halfway. Out on the right hand side, loses out. Gallagher over the top. Loftus-Cheek now moving forward. The spaces have opened up for Chelsea as Zagreb try and carve out the equaliser, but it is one back by the Croatian champions. Forward first time. One back by Thiago Silva. Loftus-Cheek out to Christian Pulisic. Back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Jorginho. Loftus-Cheek again. Chelsea just happy to play it out, and it may play in Pulisic inside the area. along the line to Gallagher, and that would have put the icing on the cake. First time effort, right-footed, and it's a big save from Livakovic in the Dinamo Zagreb goal. Brilliant move. Pulisic moving across. First time touch from Conor Gallagher on his right foot. And it's a big save from the Dinamo Zagreb goalkeeper. That would have sealed things up there for Chelsea. It's an excellent ball in. And he just cannot get control of the touch. Yeah, there would have been cast iron 3-1 if that was the case. But still, a big save from the Dinamo Zagreb goalkeeper. Loftus-Cheek, Broja, Gallagher, right side, edge of the box. He's got Ashby Akreta out to his right, who will now get the cross in towards the penalty spot, headed away by Zagreb. Only as far as Loftus-Cheek, whose right-footed effort on his laces on the volley blazes its way over the bar. We played 2.5 of the 4 minutes added on. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1, and Graham Potter in the Chelsea dugout will be happy enough with his evening's work. Would have been disappointed with the way they would have gone 1-0 down, an unforced error, but other than that, it's been a pretty much unblemished evening for his Chelsea side. But they could be caught right at the end, because this is Ivanusic inside the area, appeals for a handball, waved away. And the Dinamo Zagreb players are insistent, but Chelsea managed to clear their lines. And now this is Broja. He's going to head for the corner. Or is he going to go for the third? He brings it inside, looking to seal it for Chelsea, to put the icing on the cake. He sits inside the area but regains possession and cleared away. And Dinamo Zagreb have one final opportunity in them. It's Misic, but play stops because of an injury to Ben Chilwell, just clutching his face. Just running down the clock. Altercation with Aurelio. Well, I think he's just pulled up. That's a hamstring goal. That's the last thing Chelsea fans want to see. The last thing that England fans want to see. The World Cup now just under 3 weeks away. Now is the far from ideal. It's the worst time to pick up an injury with the World Cup so close to the horizon. So, Ben Chilwell forced off the field of play. He wants to carry on, but he said he's got to come off. Beyond the 4 minutes of added time, there's probably only going to be one more play anyway before the referee blows up. As we enter the 6th minute of added on time, can Dinamo Zagreb find something late on? Ljubicic plays the ball in towards the back post, but
Keep me